going upwards of 40 plus years. And it's been a shit. Like sometimes I wonder, like, what the fuck am I doing?
Are you an Alabama native?
No, I was born in actually Mumbai, India. My parents moved when I was like 2 or 3.
Okay, that brings a whole nother question. How do people from India end up in fucking Alabama? I'm sorry.
Dude. That is a fucking question that to this day my father can't answer. Right? Like my father was the one who first set shop here, and I'm like, really, 50 fucking states, and you pick this one? Really? You know, 1 in 50 shot, right? Like get a decent state, and you pick the worst fucking state imaginable. Like,
I mean, it's just that even back then that somebody from India would end up in a southern state at all and go, "Hey, here's a good place to live." You
no,
would think
dude.
after like the first couple of months, they'd be like, "Nope," you know.
No. You know, and that's the funny thing. Like, well, by the way, we're live.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
No, when I first when he first moved here, like it is a lot more liberal than it was back in '79, and you
Right.
can
Oh,
only
yeah.
imagine the attitude it was to people of my complexion in '79. You know,
Yeah.
and it was weird because I'm not totally white. I can't be Caucasian, but I'm not dark enough to be considered African American either.
Right.
So like, and then I was like the only of my species, basically my race here. So I was treated like a redheaded stepchild, So we were like, I was the only non-white, non-African. I was the only minority in my entire elementary school for the 8 years that was not African American. And I'm like, and I stuck out like a sore thumb, so, and it was not pretty. I like, don't get me started with the racism and shit right here, because like, yeah, they had affirmative action for African Americans here, which is appropriate. But affirmative action didn't apply to me. So
Right,
yeah,
right.
they
Hey, did I hear African American? What the?
No, seriously. Hey, SirXMan, what's up, man? What's up?
Hey,
So let's go ahead and
SirXMan.
get started, guys.
Hey,
It is.
buddy.
We are welcome everyone to Wasted with Wize, episode 29. Train of Consequences. By the way, Super, did you see that reference?
Two.
You don't know Train of Consequences is a song, Megadeth.
Yeah, I know it.
You know it?
Oh yeah, I listen to metal. Metal is my life, dude. I grew up on it.
Did y'all see the banner or the screen I put up? I actually took the cover of Train of Consequences, and that lady that was hanging up the babies upside down, I changed it from, I put Phil Spencer's face on it, and each of the babies was like Xbox, Nintendo, PC, and stuff like that. So anyhow, one of my favorite songs. Anyways, I'm kind of surprised that Super you didn't hear it.
If I heard it, I probably know it. I just don't know that. Like the title doesn't bring anything to memory.
Oh yeah, it was one of the more recent Megadeth songs that they came out with. When
What's it called
David
again?
Mustaine, huh?
What's it called?
Train of Consequences.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
I think
it's a
it
really
came
good
out
song.
about a year ago or something like that. It came out.
No,
Oh, damn, that's
man,
hella
it
recent.
didn't come out no freaking year ago. It came out like in the
13
'90s.
13
Yeah,
years ago.
yeah. it
God,
came out a
am
long
I
ago.
old?
I've been saying that shit for years now, dude. I've been saying that shit for years now, man. I've been saying, and you've not been believing me. You've been denying that you're old, but now you have definitive proof. Because if I'm fucking old, because that music is old, then you're fucking ancient. All right, let me go
By
ahead
the way,
and get-
by the way, just a heads up, Super. I am fighting a migraine, so you might get the fuck off that I didn't give you last week. So I'm just letting you.
You gonna fuck him? Did he say he's gonna fuck him off? What?
Yeah, Super told me to go fuck off, and I said, no, hey, today is my anniversary. It's the one time of the year that I don't have to go fuck off myself,
Hey, did you move? Cause your room looks totally different than what you had before.
Yeah, they cleaned it.
No, go fuck yourself. Honestly, go fuck yourself.
But
right.
the Christmas tree is down.
Yeah, the Christmas tree is down. Speaking of the first jackass that said something, Cerebral, how was your week? What you been doing? What you been playing?
Mostly Skull of Bones and just dinking around. Yeah. I'm enjoying it for what it is. I mean, it's not perfect, but it is the best part of what not only the only part I liked about Black Flag, but my favorite part, which was the sailing and the fighting, the ship fights. So
You know, actually, I have a topic on that. I think it's hit like 1 million concurrent players. But that also includes like the I guess there was a demo that's out or something like that, or a free version or something. I don't know.
maybe
Is
I
there?
don't know.
I have no earthly idea. They said that they got 1 million players right now, which for
You're
I think
talking
for
about for Skull and Bone? Is
Mm-hmm.
that
1
okay.
million concurrent players actually. Yeah, I just got the new. I just saw it on IGN today. Just like I was looking up all the topics that
You
were.
really
Like,
believe what they say on IGN?
Yeah,
why the fuck would they lie about that then? Like, why
I
would
don't.
somebody?
I personally don't know anyone that's unless Paul's hyped for this game. I don't know anyone that's hyped for Skull and Bones.
I know some people that are, but there's not that many people on my friends list that are playing it
Yeah.
apparently, because I've been doing all of it solo. So
I mean, like, if I wanted a ship combat game at this point in time, I like.
Play
It's
Sea
not a
of
ga-
Thieves.
I'm gonna play Sea of Thieves. Yeah, I'm not gonna play Skull and
no,
Bones.
but this is different than Sea of Thieves. This is, if you played Black Flag and you enjoyed that part of the game, this scratches that itch. You know.
Hold on, coming off camera for a minute.
But like, okay, okay, so you've been playing this extensively, and I really want to know this. What is keeping you tethered to that game besides, hey, I just got to do something. I got to finish this, like, or is it a situation kind of like Supa had with what was that game? That Avatar game.
Yeah,
It's like,
Avatar,
okay, yeah, you were not really engaged. It's just like you get to a point where you're like, okay, I got to finish this fucking game. So like, what is
like right now? I'm fighting a ship. I'm having fun. I like that part of the game. You know.
So how does it delineate itself from the ship combat that you get in Sea of Thieves? I would probably assume that since Sea of Thieves is out.
No, it's. Did you ever play Black Flag?
Yeah.
It's that ship combat. That's different than how you do it in Sea of Thieves.
Okay, I get that.
I don't have to run around and like restock refill the cannons. I can do this solo.
You can run now?
Stop. I'm trying to answer a question, dude. But no, I don't have to do all the micromanagement that you have to do in Sea of Thieves.
But my thing is, again, this is from an outsider's perspective, and I'm not trying to cause any controversy, but it does seem like, okay, if Black Flag had other aspects in the gameplay that sort of tethered you to the game, if this is only that one aspect of Black Flag, how does it keep you engaged?
I'm enjoying the ship battles. That's how I'm staying engaged. I'm enjoying leveling up my character.
But can't you go on land too? I heard you can walk. See, you can walk on land too.
You go on land to collect, to buy stuff, but there's no sword fights and stuff. It's strictly being a pirate.
Okay.
Wow. Well, then that kind of sucks.
Okay, having never played it, I'll take your
Yeah, but seeing
educated opinion
thieves,
there.
I can have sword fights and shoot people.
It's it's not intended to be a Sea of Thieves. I don't know.
Okay, so is there an end goal here? Like, is there like a big bad that you're trying to knock down, or like is it? What does the end game look like? How about that?
I
don't
can hear
know.
the fucking vein on Paul's forehead pulsing right now.
I know, right?
You're basically, it's like any game like this. You're trying to level up your character to become a renowned pirate.
So it's a looter shooter, but in the vein of a pirate.
Right.
Okay, it's a looter shooter like okay, so it's strictly online, and its only aim is to just get better at being a pirate.
Right.
Okay, all right. Well, I just have to take your word for it because, like, to be honest with you, like, I'm not saying that the game ain't good, but it just seems like something
it's
from an
not for
outsider's
everybody, and it may
perspective.
not last long. But for now, I'm enjoying it, and I only did the Ubisoft I paid $16. I'm playing the game. I may or may not renew after
How do you do that? Like, I was looking for that actually because I was wanting to dip my toes into it. I was like, I'd listen to
Do
you
a
talk.
search on your PC for Ubisoft Plus. Then once you create your account, you can link your Xbox account to it.
Okay, so I have to go on PC. I thought there was a way that you can go directly
There might
from
be a way
Xbox.
but I found it was easier from the PC point of view. So
Okay, cool. Anything else besides Skull and Bones? Anything else you could talk about officially? I know you play games that you can't sometimes officially talk about.
In fact, I had a play test yesterday, but no, I can't talk about it.
Yeah, I totally get that, but I appreciate that. But cool.
Yeah.
All right, next, Supa, how is your week going, man? What you been doing? What you been playing? Supa,
Oh shit, sorry. I've been.
are you on the
fucking-
commode or some shit like that?
No. Fucking my meds, dude. I told you that sometimes they felt me, so like it's making me
Okay.
like fall asleep like a toddler. Toddlers like their heads fucking fall and they wake up. So it's doing that shit. Yeah, just fucking like I said, spreading fucking democracy. Because only good bug is a dead bug. Only good automaton is one with a blowjob machine. And yeah,
So did you buy the Trump sneakers?
no.
I thought that since you're fighting for democracy, you're going to go all in and do the Trump sneakers and everything like that.
Well, the gold ones are sold out.
I saw that with sold out. They're not even produced. They're being produced by order. There really is no sold out. People are going to be lucky if they ever receive those things, man.
Well, there's one person who paid $450,000 on eBay for that shoe.
For a shoe that doesn't exist, by the way, so he may get ripped off big time.
I don't know. But besides, okay, so Super. Besides, Helldivers 2, anything else?
No, it's pretty much just been Helldivers too.
Oh, okay. Nothing that's sort of in the pipe works that seemed interesting that you said you might want to take a diversion on?
Well, not till Rebirth. No, there really hasn't been anything out now that would divert my attention from Helldivers.
Okay, so let me ask you, since you brought up Rebirth, because we're actually going to talk about that. There are reviews out actually for Rebirth, and we're going to get into the topic officially. But did you play the first one?
By first, you mean the original '97 game, or
No, the
remake? Okay,
the remake.
Yeah, I played remake.
Oh, okay. No, so my question is like, I played the original one. I mean, back in the original PlayStation variant, right?
Yep, me too.
And I played remake up to the point where like you're about to leave Midgar, and I said, well, I saw all of this, and I think there were other games at that time that I was sort of interested in. So I'm like, okay, well, and again, I don't care about platinums and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, I'm into it for a good game and a good experience. Platinums be damned. I stopped. Is there anything beyond the official, like, again, spoilers for those who did not play a fucking 5-year-old, 4-year-old game yet. Zach surviving, that was anything significant that somebody needs to take away from that story?
To be honest, I'm not really the one to ask because I played the original game once when I was a kid. So I knew I liked the game, but I didn't play it enough to completely know the ins and outs of the stories. And I played Rebirth, but I played it one time. And so at this point, I don't even remember what the fuck happened in that story. So yeah, but I'm sure you could probably pick up, not Rebirth. I'm sorry. I played Remake and don't remember the story for the most part. I'm sure you could pick up Rebirth without playing Remake, but I think they're selling a special edition. Doesn't it have both games for like $80? I think.
Yeah, it does, but I already got the original. I never finished it. That's the thing. And like finished it in the sense that I never finished the remake. I finished the original, so I know the full story inside and out all the way to the end of the game. Right. But yeah, I don't know the end of remake.
Maybe there'll be a recap in Rebirth for the people that played remake. I don't know, but yeah, I'm definitely not the person to ask because I don't know the ins and outs of that story.
See, and this is the dual-edged sword of these types of games, right? Like we always say, "Oh my God, 10-hour games! Who's gonna pay $60 or $70 for a 10-hour game?" But like on the opposite side of that freaking coin is a situation like this where you're looking at, okay, I need to play this game. I want to play this game, but it's like a minimum 40-hour experience, and it's 40 hours I don't want to invest of my life into a game like this because I've played 25 of it. I don't want to go back and rehash it all the way through because I can't pick it up from where I left off and play because I've probably forgotten the controls and all that other jazz. So I'm, muscle memory being what it is. So yeah, I don't know. I just 40 hours just seems like a lot to invest in a game just to get a story. So yeah, I don't know. So anyhow, all right, next, Triple. What's up, my man? How is your week going and what you been playing? Triple. Okay, he is on mute. So I guess he's gonna be.
All right, hello.
Okay.
Can you hear me? I know I mute myself twice, but I've been good. I've been all over the place with playing games this week. I dipped my toes into Tales of Arise, was playing Final Fantasy, Elden Ring, and now I'm playing Dead Island 2. Let's see how this turns out.
Oh yeah, that showed up on Game Pass, didn't it?
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's alright so far.
Yeah. Okay, so how far have you gotten into it?
Probably put between an hour or two into it, so not too far. So yeah, gameplay.
So it's an hour or two into it, so he's still watching the opening video sequence.
I just unlocked co-op, so I don't know what time that will clock in at, but yeah. So it's zombie slaying fun. I'm surprised they brought back a returning character from the first game. He was like, yeah, I was in the first Apocalypse. I'm like, wait, what? I was like, oh yeah, that is him. It sounds completely different and looks different, but yeah. Sam B, if anyone knows who that is, he's back. So yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so let me go ahead and introduce my first guest for tonight. You've seen this man on several other podcasts, and he used to be with us in Gaming After Dark with me and Praxis and Cerebral. SirXMan, what's up, my man? How is your week going, and what you been playing? You know what?
Oh, sure. Now he's quiet. Yeah,
now he's quiet. Now the crotchety old bastard's quiet. I thought I got. Oh my God, Jesus Christ. Okay, so let me go to David first. Let me go to David. When that crotchety bastard will come back, I'll go ahead and go to him. Okay, so you've seen my man here.
I'm here. I was talking to my sister. She's got a problem with that. Thank you very much, old man.
Okay. So let me go to you first, and then I'll go to you, David. X-Men. So tell us, how's your week been going? What you been playing, and what you been doing?
Tomb Raider.
The remake? Or
I pre-ordered that in December, dude. And I've been waiting for it. Tomb Raider. You know how hard it is to get your reflexes back to the old Tomb Raider? But I got it now. I'm running through it. Everything's fine. I got total control. But the game is phenomenal, dude. It takes me back. I'm
really
gotta look at them triangular titties.
No, it's not about
tank controls?
It's about I'm glad I got the tank controls. I don't like the modern day. It doesn't work.
Get the fuck out of here! Really?
Yeah, the tank. That's where I started. All Tomb Raiders I've played with the tank controls. So
we all played that
did,
stuff,
but
right?
the tank controls are shit, dude.
But
yeah,
no,
come on. We just had to talk about this last week. And
my brain needs like a second to rewire itself back to tank controls. It's so hard going back to it. It really is.
For me though, the tank controls are a lot more accurate with your movement than the modern version. I can actually pinpoint. I can jump where I want to jump without falling off. When you use the modern controls, it's like so inaccurate. So with the tank controls, I can jump where I want. I can slide it back. I can hit the walk back to an accurate point.
I can see that.
Instead of trusting that, it makes my jumping a lot easier and more precise.
Okay,
now,
but the $1 million question is it going to make your white beard go black again?
No, too late for that, bro. I was 23 when I played that game. That game's like 27 years old, dude. So it brought back so many memories, and I'm playing all of them. Plus, I also have one of them is now on there, which is the Lost Artifact that's on that was for Tomb Raider 3. But I had to get that from Idols because you couldn't get it on the console. So I got the PC disc of it. But them other ones that get added on were just ones that were there for the PC version, and you couldn't order them. So I got all the extra expansions that they had for Tomb Raider now, and I can play them all now in one compilation. So I'm loving that, and I'm gonna walk through it, play it again, and play it again. Man, I just love it. You forget how much you don't remember when you play a game that you played almost 30 years ago. You totally forget. It took me forever to figure out, okay, what I know what I was supposed to do. Where do I go from here? So it's like starting all over again. The only problem is people that have never played it won't notice the difference, and they're frustrated with the modern controls because they're not as accurate as the tank controls. So that's where a lot of people are criticizing. Now you're gonna have those they made it true to life exactly what the Tomb Raider was. We didn't have patches back in the day. So it is what it was. You're gonna see every now and then a little glitch to a wall or turning and you running and you like stop and you run into the wall. But that's how it was back then.
Oh, when they
This
when
game
they
was the
remastered
harder
it,
and
they could
harder.
have they could have corrected that.
I didn't want them to
Remastered it.
correct it. I wanted them to be true from form, true to
No,
form.
no.
And I'm glad
Oh,
they
it
said
was
that.
it was broke
You
back
might
then,
like
so
it
it
like
should be
that.
broke now. Yeah, no,
You
I'm good.
might like it with fixes and stuff. I want it to be true for form so people can know how hard the game was back then. You know what I'm saying? Keep it original so people know how we had it back then.
I have a similar story with Ninja Gaiden when it came on the.
Oh, that game is so hard, and then they made the Ninja Gaiden black to make it easier for people.
No. I'm talking about back at the old school NES hard Ninja Gaiden. Remember?
That one, yeah.
Wait. Ninja Gaiden Black on the Xbox is easier, or am I hearing that correctly? Because I remember getting my ass handed in that one, unless we're talking about two different copies.
No, they made the controllers a little bit more easier for people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when they first put Ninja Gaiden on the Nintendo online store, whatever, for download whatever, I immediately downloaded it and had my kids play it, and they fucking hated the goddamn birds. Like I'm like, yeah, that's it. Those motherfucking birds, So yeah,
that's like somebody trying to play Contra of the old Contra. These people can't get through Contra. They can't get through Contra.
See, this is the thing that doesn't. We as old school NES gamers, right? NES and Sega gamers,
and PlayStation,
old school PlayStation gamers. We grew up with this hard gaming mechanic, mainly because of just the technology of the time. That's all they could afford, right? Or not afford, but do. So it's surprising that we've aged to this point, and you think that based off of all of that, we would be good with like the current gen difficult stuff. But it's not the case. It never translated, and I don't know why. And the kids these days, they can handle the current gen hard stuff, like your Elden
This is what
Rings
they
and all that
grew up
stuff.
on.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the games are harder today because they're far more complex. There's far more complexities and controls and all kinds of shit. Games back in the day were hard, but they were simple hard. Like there's 5 million little orbs flying on my character, and I can just jump up and down. That's it. I'm fucked. That type of hard,
Yeah.
Also, there were so many games back in the day that they were ports of arcade games, and those games were designed to be quarter eaters.
Quarter munchers, we called them. Yep.
Yeah, but I'm loving the new Tomb Raider, man. Me and Iceman's loving it too, man. He's playing the crap out of it. So yeah,
cool.
It's ridiculous. No, not that. It's somebody that we know in the community. Yeah, we know him in the community. And I gifted one of my friends the game because he's old school like me. So, and the game's only $30 for $30, man. That's a good game. If you never played it, and people want to experience what we went through back in the day, and you think you can handle that hardness and that puzzle solving,
you need to
get
play
ready
on
because
a CRT with the old school aspect ratio.
That game is a challenge that a lot of people aren't ready for. They didn't know how puzzles were made back in the day for even a lot of games.
What's a puzzle hint? There ain't no puzzle hints in Tomb Raider.
There ain't well, they put little hints in, but you still got to figure it out.
Yeah, like it'll be like a little chime, and it kind of points like that's where you want to go, but it doesn't. explain how to get there. She doesn't have an inner monologue of, oh, let me move this and do that to fucking get up there.
It's like I'm
You
in
mean
a-
like
I'm in
Aloy
a-
who fucking talks all the goddamn time? You know, yeah. Sorry.
So I'm in the Midas area. You know, you got to try and get the lead, find the lead, and then turn it into gold. Man, I forgot where I was supposed to go. I was so lost. That's how long it's been. So, but
You
it was
do that
fun
when you go
figuring-
down the hallway to go to the
it was
bathroom,
fun.
dude. You get lost easy. I don't
Well, that's
You know
good.
what?
That's cool.
I had a joke, but I'm being nice to you today, Paul. You left yourself so open, my friend.
Oh, you should have let him have it. I mean, somebody should
No,
put
no,
that
no,
cross
I'm
shield
gonna be-
pastor in his place.
I'm
And
gonna
no
be
better
nice.
than another cross
I'm
shield pastor.
gonna be nice to my buddy.
Why? He's not nice to anybody else on the fucking panel. Why
But
should you
that's
be nice
his
to him?
personality. He'll strike a chord with me, and I'll get to him.
All right. Okay, next. You've seen our guest here several times before. He is our resident expert in all things business. David Faulkner, what's up, my man? How you been doing, and what you been playing this week?
I'm doing well. I've been busy spreading democracy and drinking plenty of cups of liberty and enjoying Helldivers too.
How far are you in it?
Not very. Lowly
Not
little
very?
cadet level 10.
Oh.
I'm standing, too much work, mate. I spend all my time working and I watch people just career up to level 30, level 35 and get all the weapons and leave me behind. So I just poke around on easy mode and shoot a few bugs and feel good about myself.
See, you and me have a similar situation. Obviously, I'm not into the same business that you're in, but like my week is totally like sort of the discretionary time is totally spoken for. And like when I come back and I see like people playing in the levels that they've gotten, I'm like, how in the fuck? Like, how do people like, have a job, like
They're
marriage?
no lifing
things?
it, bro, and they're playing on the hardest difficulty, so they get the most amount of XP.
Yeah.
You can
Or
fail
some
missions.
Some of
on
them,
a-
even with full jobs and stuff, they may not get much sleep at night because I used to be able to do that.
Yep.
Yeah. There's like people like, you see Retro, he's like level 35 or something like that. But that bugger, and I'll expose him. I don't give a shit. He's on night shift, right? And because he's caretaking the warehouse on night shift, then there's not much going on if there's no deliveries. He sits there on his remote play and plays it.
Yeah.
Constantly
Yeah,
to
but
work.
if you're playing on like medium or hard and you successfully do everything, complete all the missions, side missions, and evac all your people, you'll get like 450 XP. If you're playing on Helldive, even if you fail but you did like one side objective, you'll get this equivalent XP. So like just hopping in Helldive missions and doing whatever you can, you're gonna walk away with XP. And if you can successfully do the mission, you'll get 1400 plus XP. So that's how people are leveling up so damn fast.
Oh, absolutely. And they, after the when they got the 50% extra or the double XP bonus or whatever the hell it was that was going on, when it got dished out after they fixed all the bugs, someone can't remember who it was. Someone got like 4,000 XP after the bug got fixed and just creamed up a heap of levels.
Yeah.
Well, there is something to be said about this game, right? Like, there are games where people like they level up so much, and then you like go back and you're still, because you just don't have the time to level up. You see everyone else who you're playing with, and you're like so under leveled compared to everybody else. You're like, well, fuck it, I just don't have the time to, sort of give into this. But then with Helldivers, the good thing about Helldivers is that there is a compelling gameplay loop that keeps you going back, even though you may not be like the same level as your counterparts, right? And I mean that's a testament, in my opinion. I mean, that's what I think. So yeah, I mean the fact that even as like you're like a low level player, my player is a low level player, we can go in and extract from the game the enjoyment that we want. And for example, Supa, who's probably what level are you now, Supa? Because you've been playing this for a minute now.
Mid to late 30s, probably 36 or 37.
Yeah, so.
I've seen him jumping in and out of planets. I've seen Super diving in and getting his ass kicked at times.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think? What do you think the future? Do you think that this is PlayStation's been like ever since like last year, right? PlayStation's been antsy about this whole Call of Duty going to Xbox and looking for another live service game. Do you think they've sort of stumbled across it?
Nah, I don't. Not. I wouldn't say they've stumbled across it. The hole that Call of Duty going off PlayStation was going to dig was substantial, regardless of whether it made sense or not. He can't drop $400 or $500 million worth of revenue and plug it quite quickly with something else. You got to patch that hole delicately, and it's quite a chunk of cash.
Mm-hmm.
But Helldivers, that's not going to plug that hole. And there'll be, you need 3 or 4 games that have massive amounts of sales to plug the hole above and beyond what they're projecting these games to do. So if they have 3 or 4 of these and they types of games and they can get 4 or 5 years out of them with the engagement at a decent level, that's a great success. But I wouldn't be looking at it going, that's the answer to COD if it disappeared.
No, I'm not saying it's going to be. I mean, COD is really the only answer for COD, right? I mean, COD is in and of itself. It's its own platform, kind of like what Fortnite is. I would say right now. But that being said, like they've been looking to get into that market, but do you think this game has the legs to become maybe a secondary something?
I'd be inclined to say no, mainly because of the difference in how the games are brought to market. This could compete a little bit. I'd say compete a little bit. It'd probably be more aligned with Destiny rather than Call of Duty, because we're not going to get another Helldivers game next year. We're just going to get some kind of upgrade or update to whatever it is we're playing now. So, I think I don't know. I think it's done a great job of being what it is, and I don't think it needs to be. I think it's unfairly compared to COD, but it's certainly going to be similar to what Destiny and a few of those other live service type games is going to be like. But I mean, the good thing is that it's doing great. Everyone's having a lot of fun playing it. It's providing challenges to those who want challenges and a shitload of fun to those of us who just want to have fun. I dropped Bream in a wormhole, in a bloody bug hole this morning, and we killed the bug hole and cleared the mission requirement to get the XP for it, and we didn't have any lives left. So we basically, that was it. We couldn't extract because I got killed at the same time. Just funny little quirks like that, and we just laughed forever about that one. But good fun.
So let me ask both you and Super this, since both of you are playing this game. How much of this game's enjoyment is the nostalgia for Starship Troopers?
I mean, that's an element of it, but if Starship Troopers wasn't a thing, this game would still be as much fun as it is. It's the chaos that's what makes this game fun. It's just the absolute holy fuck chaos as you're trying to accomplish these goals and get to the extraction, and you're getting these giant heavies that drop in out of fucking nowhere, tanks that are almost impenetrable, giant bile, what the hell they're called?
Oh, the ball spewers.
Yeah, no, the big one, the fucking giant walking ones.
The ball titans.
Yeah, the bile titans, the fucking giant, like bigger than a house walking things, spitting shit. Like it's that stuff that makes the game fun. But to go back to your previous question, though, it really is going to be their late game content that's going to decide how this game does, because it's great right now. Everyone's loving it right now. But if they don't continue to release updates and new content and new enemies and new weapons and new shit at a decent rate and stuff that people are excited about, then the game is just going to die like every other live service game.
Yeah, and it's got a great solid foundation to achieve those things well, because I mean we got two different breeds of enemy. Breeds, bad word. Two different forms of enemies. So we've got bugs. So you got bugs and the the robots, then you could quite easily bring in a different form of enemy on a different set of planets. And the way that it's set up, you can see that there's multiple different zones they can expand into. So they said they've got a pathway ahead, a roadmap that they're working towards. And if it continues as it is with the amount of craziness and fun that we can have, the music, there's some attention to detail stuff that just makes a difference. So the music, how it gets louder and softer at different intervals, and the background noise, you can hear where bugs are or hear where robots are. And then when they start to swarm and the music just crescendos and builds up, and it's good fun. It's I said to someone the other day, it's the best soundtrack for getting a state of tension that I've heard in a game that I've played since Uncharted.
Yeah, it really does have some great music. You also have to think about this fact when you talk about this game. This game was built on an engine that got discontinued in 2018. So there hasn't been any updates for this engine since 2018. It's an old ass engine. It's the same engine that they used to build the first Helldivers game. So you got to imagine if they can keep this game alive and keep it something that people are into and excited about, the next iteration of Helldivers is obviously going to get an injection of more cash and probably get a new fucking engine. And that is an incredibly exciting idea, because like you said, the foundation of this Helldivers, the bones, the DNA that are currently there, they can build something amazing on top of this foundation if they choose to do it.
Do y'all think that Sony is looking at this and saying, you know what, we can capitalize off of this, and they're bringing their whole their whole like development houses up to bear? Like they're like saying, okay, take this maybe minor development house, I don't know, Bend or what, I'm just making something up here, and saying, okay, help these guys out so they can sort of get to their achievement goals for the game quicker or something. Do you think that's going on?
They're going to do like they did with they've done that with other games where they pull off all the minor teams and put them on one project.
Cross-pollination.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what XDev is there for. That's one of their main focuses of XDev.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to be doing, because I mean, I think this is their opportunity to sort of strike when the iron is hot, if you will, kind of. So I think that it will be in their best interest, because they, as you said, they've been looking for a inroad into this, live service / multiplayer thing. And I think,
I will say that for people like me, because I paid for the game and I can't play the game, they need to add a lot of accessibility in order for me to be able to play the game.
Well, I think they did add the accessibility, and I hate to say this, but because I don't think that when they first were developing this game, they thought that it's going to do anything. Well, I mean, it's a multiplayer game where you're basically a shooter where you're shooting bugs, and it's not like the most.
But it's more than that. It's the part I have trouble with is it's very left-hand dominant as far as you have to push down the left bumper and then put in on the D-pad. You have to put in the codes to drop whatever you want to drop. My hands can't do that. My hands.
Yeah, like for me, able-bodied, when I'm on the run, I'm using my left thumb to run my character in a direction, my left finger to hit L1, and then I'm using my right fucking hand to actually access the D-pad and punch in the codes, because you can't stand still to punch them in or you're dead. So I can imagine for Paul, that must be a fucking nightmare.
Oh, it is. I absolutely can't do it, to be honest. I mean, it's like, anybody want to buy a PlayStation account?
It's a pain in the rear end, because the guys that play it on PC, that on the keyboard it's easy because the buttons are right next to each other. So and the arrows are on the opposite hand. But I've heard of people saying that they have to pull the hand off the mouse to punch the codes in as well. So it's
All right, before I introduce,
it's designed to be chaotic though. So
it is, but but
it's really going to be difficult for Paul.
But they can do something. Yeah, there's some things they could do to make it a little bit less chaotic if they want to get more. Because people like me, they're more and more of us trying to play games. So we're gonna
instead of
play games.
Instead of having to punch in 8 or 9 different bloody button inputs to call something down, it could just be 1 or 2. you know?
Right. Yeah, make them shortcuts. It's an accessibility option. Like they do with the QuickTime events, where you can either hold it down or you have to punch him, or. So they could shortcut it if they want to. If hopefully they're thinking about things like that.
Well, I mean, I totally understand. I mean, I'm not trying to, make an excuse for them or anything, but I totally understand why they probably at first said, you know what, we're just going to put this out and just let's see sort of if it has any legs to swim on. Because again, it is a live service or an predominantly online game, and we know that for every one that hits, there's 15 that don't, and they probably didn't want to invest more development time in including these things. For a game that may not have legs to stand. So now that it has sort of demonstrated itself.
With any live service game, yes, just one hit for now, but they're going to be watching. They want to see what the attachment rate is in 6 months, in 3 months, in 9 months, in a year, to see if it's really going to stick. Because a lot of games like this come out, they hit real quick, and then they go away just as fast.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so before I introduce everybody else, let me go ahead and say hello to everybody in the chat. 4QTube.
You can't even say it. 4GQTV.
No, it's 4QTube. It's 4QTube.
Oh, is it? I'm not looking at the chat.
FarQTube or 4QTube, yeah.
FarQTube.
Oh, it's the other guy.
4Q.
It's FarQ.
Yeah,
Hey,
FarQTube, yep. Rich Kreischer, what's
just say
up?
FarQ. It's easier that way. Well, FarQ2.
NGC.
Yeah, that's what he said. That's what it is. FarQ2. Well,
FarQTube, okay.
No.
Rich
Good
Kreischer.
times.
NGC Nelson's Gaming Culture. Welcome, my man. We had another one. Where'd he go? I can't find him right now. Jesus, I know there's another person up in here.
Fuck 'em.
Okay, well,
Wow.
thank you for coming in, everybody. Appreciate it. Hit the like, please. And if you have any questions, please put it in the comments, and I'll definitely post it up here, and maybe when somebody in the panel can answer. Oh, yeah, RPG88, of course. Welcome, my man. Show wouldn't be the show without you, sir. All right. Yeah, according to FarQTube, it says that there's been about 10 patches already. So, yeah. I think they were just stumbling around. So, but anyhow.
Well, remember, the CEO was like, you might want to hold off on buying the game till we can fix the login server issue.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. And their back end developer team consists of only 3 people.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's JTS. Welcome, my man. Welcome. Also, so let me go ahead and introduce to the everybody else. Loke, what's up, my man? What you been doing this week? What you been playing?
I've been playing Remnant 2. I'm good.
Hey,
I need some help with my PlayStation 5.
What's going on?
I started playing. I started playing it. I started playing Dark Souls 3 on Steam with my PlayStation controller. Now I can't synchronize the controller back to the console. I've checked YouTube videos. I've pressed the button to until it turns off all the way down. I've tried a whole bunch of stuff.
And
I need help.
You rewired it? Did you plug it in with a cord?
With the yeah.
Because that's
that.
that's what you're supposed to do to get it to totally correct. But yeah, if that's not working, I say you just throw it out the window and buy a new one. I'm talking about the console, not the controller. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I don't know. I've never heard of that before. Like if you sync it to one console or whatever, you can not sync it back. I've never heard that.
No, it should work. Like I said, if the wireless side's not working, hooking it back up with a USB cable should, so it can run any updates that it needs to run.
What you can do, Loke, is this: you can sort of like totally waste all the energy that's in the battery and let it totally die out, and then like maybe bring it back if that makes sense.
Yeah, so let it sit there for 2 or 3 hours till the battery dies. No.
Yeah.
What is this? Stand up. What's happening?
I think that's what's gonna that's what you have to do. I think you literally have to wait until like the thing dies, and then when it dies, I think it sort of factory resets itself. I think.
Wait, did he tell me to stand up? Is that what he told me?
Oh my god.
And no, it doesn't factory reset when the battery dies. You actually have to. It has an internal battery to keep the settings even when the battery totally dies.
Yeah.
Oh. Huh. That's the first time I've heard of it. Actually, it might be something. I don't know.
A lot of all these devices are like that. They don't lose sync just because the battery that you use dies. They all have, they all have capacitors in them that hang on to a charge.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Well, Cozy, my woman, what's up? How's your week been going? What you been playing?
Wow.
I would say my man, but I'm not my woman.
Wow. What does your wife say about it?
Well, she
I
ain't
think it
saying
would
nothing.
sound-
She's at work right now, but go ahead.
Oh, that makes it even worse. No, so I'm doing well. I've been playing Helldivers too.
Helldivers.
Helldivers. That's how the fancy people say it.
That's like horse divers. Yeah. Got
Yeah.
some of the horse divers.
Horde divers.
More divers.
It's Hell de Duvois.
I also been playing Go Mecha Ball and gosh, potato.
Oh, the potato.
Brotato?
game.
Yes,
Brotato. Brotato. Yeah, Brotato. What do you think of that game? I didn't care for it. Everyone was talking about. It just didn't scratch my itch.
What the
that I
fuck
was
is
looking for.
Rotato? I don't know what the fuck that is.
I love
It's
it.
an indie. It's an indie game. So,
Oh.
It's
yeah.
Vampire Survivors, but
Yeah, it's vampire with a
Basically, yeah.
potato. With a potato.
Also, NGC Nelson, I've tried it. I've put the pin back in the controller. I put the cable in the front. I put it in the back. Nothing's
I
happening.
bet you did put it in the back.
Oh my lord, Cozy.
You walked into it.
No,
he backed into it. He
literally,
backed into
he's walking into the back. Yeah. Okay. And RPGA says hook it up to your PS5 and it should relink to the PS5. But I think you already tried that, Loke.
That's what-
So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we've all been telling him to do.
yeah. Usually
think-
that's what fixes it. Go ahead.
Either
Am I putting it in the wrong hole? What is happening?
And look, this is what you do, Loke. You buy a new one, you take it home, you hook it up, and then you take the old one, put it in the box, and say, "This shit don't work. I want a refund."
And send it
Yeah.
back. Yeah.
It's called in America. We call that the Amazon warranty.
Yeah.
You know,
I
you
live
buy
in
it from
a-
Amazon.
That's
Guys, I
Amazon,
live in a third world
Amazoning.
country.
Yeah, that's Amazon.
I live in a
Yes.
third world country. You guys think I can return PlayStation 5s?
Yeah.
Seriously.
There's no Best Buys in Texas. I'm just fucking.
RPG 88, get the fuck out of here.
Is it in God? Is it in all?
Is your PlayStation 5 on?
It's the first time it's like I guess I can get it after so many years of marriage. You sort of forget what hole to put it in, right? If you,
Oh my goodness.
or you forget if it's in all the way. I think it's in, or is it just the tip? Okay, so there you go. All right, but anyhow, all right, Jim, my man, what's up, my man? How is your week going, and what you been playing?
Pretty good, and yes, I'm also in your YouTube thing. And as far as playing, just whatever I feel like playing, really.
Whatever.
Well,
Whatever
that
you
narrows
playing.
it down. Well,
I mean, I just bounce from getting different games to different games, really.
Oh, okay. Anyone that you care to mention or can mention? 'Cause I
Wise.
know
Stop putting those comments up, Wise.
I can't. They keep coming. It's hilarious.
They keep coming, really?
no, wow.
Oh, try some.
We all know. No, I'm not going there.
I'm sorry, Jim. I'm sorry. Go keep going. Any game that you care to mention? Any name you want to drop?
I just been playing with my new puppy.
The new puppy. Is
Yeah,
that what you call it? The new puppy? I call mine.
That's what the kids are calling it now. Yeah,
The new puppy, okay.
The new puppy,
Well,
yeah.
well, if he was in the room, I'd show him on camera. But yeah,
Well, we don't want to see your new puppy. Does it bark when you pet it? That's all.
Ooh.
it does bark in the house, and yes, I'm talking an actual dog.
Oh, okay. Oh, we did not know that. Okay, cool.
I think it's allergic to him because it throws up when he touches it.
All
That's a good thing.
right.
It's not my problem.
Yeah, are you sure it has good gag reflex? That's all. Sorry, I couldn't resist. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the first topic. So, as I was,
His new dog in a jar of peanut butter. What are we talking about?
okay, we better stop before Loke says, okay,
Yeah.
this is enough.
As long as it's not pineapple pizza.
That's right.
That's the first thing I plan to get him addicted to.
That's right.
Wait, what?
Get him. getting that peanut butter addiction going early.
Peanut
There you
butter.
go, yeah.
Damn it, lick it here, not here, damn it.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so
Wow.
let's go ahead and talk about a couple of things that happened this week that are not exactly game related, but game-ish related. A couple of new live actions. One was a trailer, and one was the actual TV show that dropped. Avatar: The Last Airbender aired this week on Netflix, and so did the trailer for Borderlands. So, anyone have anything to say? Has anyone seen Avatar? I know it's been not getting that good of a review. It's been okay. I mean, I'm not saying it's the best thing since sliced bread, but it's good.
I finished it last night.
Overall thoughts?
Well, first let me preface this by saying that I don't know shit about the Avatar cartoon. Like I know of it, but I don't know the story. I don't know the characters or anything. That being said, watching the show was okay. It wasn't anything crazy. It was a little better than I thought. Last couple episodes, like last 2 episodes, definitely had like massive girl boss fucking energy, and I was like, all right, dude, we get it. Fucking moving on. But other than that, it was okay. But again, I don't know. Yeah, it was Qatar. I don't know how faithful it is to the animated series. So from someone that knows nothing, it like I enjoyed it and I watched it in one day.
All right. And did you get a chance to watch the Borderlands trailer?
Fuck that movie. That thing's an abomination. They should just burn the studio down. That thing is going to suck.
So it's one of those Yui Bowl variations of the gaming adaptation stuff. So definitely not a
Dude, like not a single casting is one where I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like none of them. I'm like, who the fuck are these people and why are they there? Jack Black is doing an okay job as Claptrap, but the thing is, we have the guy who does the voice of Claptrap that's still fucking alive. Why does it have to be Jack Black? You can't even see Jack Black's face. Is so you can put his name on the fucking poster.
That's it.
I would rather watch the World of Warcraft movie again than watch
Oh fuck!
Whole lot of no.
He pulled that game movie out of his fucking rear end. Oh my god!
He needs to put it back too.
Hey, the World of Warcraft movie will definitely be better than that movie coming out for Borderlands.
Yeah, I like the trailer. I thought it looked interesting. So,
That movie looks like a wannabe Guardians of the Galaxy with people in cosplay.
have you played Borderlands? It is a wannabe Guardians of the Galaxy with people.
No, I haven't played them. I'm saying like in terms of like their outfits and just the look and the clearly like the relationships and stuff. It seems like that's what they're going for.
But that's the look and the feeling in the games too. Seriously, it's that outrageous. You know?
Yeah, over the top, goofy writing to the point where the third game came out. People was like, I think we're a bit mature than this guy. And I'm like, but that's Borderlands. What are you talking about?
Well, okay, so Super, you said what made you like say look at this trailer and say, oh fuck no?
Like I said, first of all, none of the castings hit for me. They all are weird. Like I don't like any of the casting choices. The humor isn't hitting for me. Like the piss joke, I was like, that's not funny. Claptrap with his fucking bullet shitting fetish, that wasn't funny. I was just like, dude, what the fuck? What is going on here? Like, I love the humor in the Borderlands games, and I feel like the humor, and a lot of that is potty humor in the Borderlands game, right? A lot of just fucking super childish bullshit, and just the humor in this trailer didn't hit for me. It's like you can tell that it's not the same people working on the movie that worked on the games, and they're just trying to mimic that type of shit, but they're not those people. They're not good at that, you know?
Yeah, where's the magical person that's in every Borderlands? I did not see that. Yeah, the siren.
Yeah, the redhead Lilith, that's that siren.
But the siren
she didn't really
has
sirens
guns.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I mean, the siren.
Also, why is she like 65 years old? You couldn't find someone younger.
She definitely. I was like, why is she so?
Right? Like I love Cate Blanchett, man. She's an amazing actress, but like, why the fuck is she in this movie? She doesn't have any of the tattoos. It's like, what the fuck, man?
They should have hired Scarlett Johansson. She would have been perfect for that role.
Who's doing this movie, by the way?
Hire Scarlett for anything.
What's
Avi Arad?
Scarlett Johansson is toxic to the male gaze. No more sexy
What
women.
the fuck are you talking about?
He
Toxic
said
to the
no
male
sexy
gaze.
She ruins regular women for us, is what he's saying.
Because every one of us would do her. Sorry.
Ah, Jesus. And I do her nightly thanks to deepfakes and Pornhub. There you go. So there you go. Hey, look, some people do OnlyFans. I do deepfakes and Pornhubs. It works for me, okay?
But
So there you
guys,
go. Don't judge.
although the casting was off, can we agree that the vibe and like the background of Borderlands, they nailed
Captain.
that?
Oh,
Yeah.
well, the looks wise, the
yeah.
aesthetics, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the game for sure. The aesthetic wise,
Yeah.
And for the 1 second that you see Gina Gershon as Moxie like that, she looked okay.
Oh, yeah, no, that Moxie was pretty good.
For the 1 second you see her, but like it definitely has the look of the games. But when I watch the trailer, it doesn't feel like the games, and none of the characters feel like the character. Even the girl that's playing Tiny Tina, like looks wise, she's okay, but like the way she acts and the way she says stuff, it's like that's not the character.
No,
I want to see who's going to play the big lady that's a mechanic.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if she's going to be in the game because they're taking a different approach to the story. And I don't think she was in the first one. It was just her brother Scooter that was in there. So like, are they bringing back? She was
third one.
No, she was in the second one. She was in the second one. She just wasn't in the first one. And since they have a different cast of Vault Hunters, they have Roland and Lilith. So you got the first two. And then they had Krieg. I'm assuming that's Krieg, who was a DLC from Borderlands 2. And then they had Tina. I was like, okay, so it's completely an original story. So who knows if they'll.
Well, if you saw who's going to be a villain, he wasn't introduced until the second one.
Wait, is that supposed to be Jack?
Yeah, I think that's supposed to be Jack. Okay. And he wasn't introduced to the second one. So they're going to be with this. When you watch this movie, it's going to be all over the place. All over the place.
Oh, and then it's directed by Eli Roth, which is strange because he's more known for directing horror films.
For directing some of the best horror films of the last generation.
All I know is that they kept saying by the guy that did Venom and something else. I didn't watch any of those
that's Avi Arad. He's the producer, but then it's also written by Eli Roth.
Yeah, Eli Roth.
Screenplay by Eli Roth.
Eli Roth did like Cabin
Hostel.
Fever and Hostel, and
yeah.
Well, the thing is this, like, I just don't know, even if it was a good trailer, let's say it hit on all the chords, the fact that this is going to big screens initially and not going to any streaming service, I don't know how successful it's going to be because I don't think Borderlands has the mass market appeal.
No, but Super just told you what does. People are going to see that it's a Eli Roth picture and they're going to go out and see it.
And Kevin Hart.
But does Eli Roth carry that type of clout?
I don't know. I don't know that Eli Roth is the name that's going to pull people in, but
it's going to pull his horror fandom into it, even if it's not horror.
It'll be on demand in about a month or two.
On a month, I think within a couple of weeks, it's going to be on some sort of
most of the contracts are at least 6 weeks out after a theater run. So it won't be that long between theater and. But yeah, and some of the names like, everybody. The only name that you really see talked about is Jack Black, but that's fine too. And so depending, it's not going to have a big massive draw unless they get more trailers out there or really push it.
Yeah, I was gonna say if they don't get a second trailer or a third trailer out that in my opinion are significantly better than this trailer, I don't think it's gonna do well.
And even if it doesn't do well in the theater, it may do well on its initial streaming. People will pay to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but Kevin Hart is the wrong character to try to play Commando. I'm sorry.
Why? He's too damn small, man.
Yep, the wrong character.
Well, we talk about this movie being bad and everything, but I think that, like, again, they're going off of the hype of Borderlands, which is, the 3 games were plus or minus relatively pretty good.
Well received.
Yeah, well received. 2 was very well received. 1 was, of course, was a good success, and 3, I don't know. Some people love it.
Their time for the hype for Borderlands was 7 years ago, dude.
Right,
it's kind of way too late in that game's history to be coming out now, unless you were coming out with a new Borderlands game. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. Well,
Yeah, I know.
Well,
they-
how do you know
By the
they're
way,
not?
it's not 7 years too late
It's,
because Tiny Tina's just dropped a couple years ago.
Wonderland.
Yeah, but Tiny Tina is an offshoot of Borderlands.
Mhm.
No,
Tiny
but
Tina didn't do
anybody
that
who's a
well.
fan knows who that is. Tiny Tina.
I
is
know who
pretty
they are,
good.
but it's an offshoot of Borderlands.
Doesn't okay, but it's still part of that universe, dude.
Yeah, but like
It's in
Paul,
the
like,
mind share. somewhere.
everybody at Comic Con is gonna know what this movie is, but everyone
Yeah.
outside of that,
I know they.
if I told
No.
my mom they're making a Borderlands movie, my mom would be like, "What the fuck is that?" She
Right.
doesn't
That's
know.
why I said though. That's where they're gonna get draws from Eli Roth's fandom for one, at least initially, because they're gonna want to see what he did outside of horror, and who knows, he may have done because of the way Borderlands is, he may have got to use a bunch of blood packs. Who knows with him, you know?
Okay, how many people, except for you and maybe a few others, really knows who directed and made this game?
Yeah, that would be a good thing. Does anyone in the chat know who Eli Roth is? And you would go and see a movie
Nope.
based off of Eli Roth.
What do you mean, nope? Okay, now you're just being stupid.
No, I'm being honest. I have no idea who this
Yeah,
person is you're talking
you're,
about.
you're saying that, but I'm telling you right now that
I said you and a few other
it's not a
people
few. It's
out
not a
there.
few. It's not a few, dude.
Okay, he's not a household name in my world.
Yeah.
Well, Nelson sure as hell doesn't know who he
But
is.
it's not a few though, because remember I'm also involved in the horror community. I'm telling you, it's
See,
not a
that's
few.
why you know who he is.
Yeah,
But you're-
like
you
he's not.
keep
He's,
saying-
he's not.
I'm
He's
not
not a
implying-
Christopher Nolan. He's not a James
Right.
Cameron. He's not one of those type names.
He's
And
the guy that did
and I like Eli Roth's movies. I think Eli Roth is a decent director in those movies, and he was amazing in *Inglourious Basterds*. But he's just. I don't think that for the names that are going to pull people in theaters. I think Eli Roth is probably the smallest one. It's going to be your Kate Blanchetts, your Jack Black.
You're not getting.
It's
what
like
I'm saying.
it's
You're
like
not
what
getting-
he's saying. The
not-
masses
you're-
don't know what Borderland is. A lot of people don't know what Borderland is. It's the same thing. I don't
you're
know
saying
who
that
this guy is.
You think horror fans will go just to see what he's done? That's
Correct.
It's not horror.
Yeah,
that you're saying.
that's what I'm saying right there.
And I'm saying I know that's how you feel. I don't think that many people are going to be going there just to see what he does different. But hey,
No.
RPG 88 said the best. He's a guy that did a thing. I'm sorry. That's not me. That's RPG 88, dude. I'm sorry. I just asked the chat.
ahead,
That's what
Paul.
he said. I didn't put words in his mouth, dude. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh shit. Okay, I apologize. Paul is getting ticked off here. Like, okay, he's getting
Because we
upset
don't
at the
know
chat.
who this guy is.
See, now he's just gonna be quiet. Now he's just
But you're
upset.
not representative of everybody. Don't
Okay,
I hate when
then.
people do that.
I'm
I hate-
happy you have people that know who this
no.
guy is.
It's your representation that you and a few. It's not a few. It is a very large fandom, actually.
Okay.
Horror conventions do almost as well as game conventions do. dude.
Okay.
I'm aware.
I'm
I go
happy
to Monster
for you.
Palooza every year.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of shit shows, Madam Web was apparently a shit show. It was a colossal failure. Did anyone see it or anyone
What a
heard
surprise!
anything about
The trailer looked about as good as Borderlands.
No, the
I
trailer
didn't
looked
even
way
know
worse
they
than
came out
Borderlands.
with a movie.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
and it got universally panned. There's no question.
Yeah. It had one trailer. That's it, only one. And when everyone saw it, they were like, "What the fuck is this?" The main actress fired her agent and changed agencies the day that trailer got released. Like it feels like one of those movies where Sony was like, "Listen, if we don't make a fucking Spider-Man related movie, they're gonna take this fucking Spider-Man license away from us. Just pump some shit out." Like when Fox shit out that garbage Fantastic Four movie because they knew if they didn't make a movie, they were gonna lose their
Right.
license to Fantastic Four. That's what it feels like. And if that's not what this is, then what the fuck is Sony doing?
Well, Sony does that to all their Marvel movies. That's why most of the Sony Marvel movies aren't that good. You know, it's like.
Yeah, and see, that's the question I have, right? Like, okay, they can make a damn good Spider-Man video game. They made 2 of them. and a DLC. That's
Yeah,
excellent.
but
Right.
PlayStation and Sony Pictures are not the same thing. though,
They're
dude.
not the same thing, but like what? Okay, they can make a good Spider-Man movie if Marvel's helping them, right? With Spider-Man No Way Home and
They don't
okay.
even need Marvel's help. Look at the first two Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies; they were amazing. The third one got fucked up because Avi Arad fucking stuck his hand in there. It was like put in enemies that you're not trying to put in the story. So he fucked up that third movie. But they made two amazing movies. Then even with the Amazing Spider-Man, those were so, but they still weren't terrible. Well, the second one was. And then you have the Tom Holland ones, which are all pretty good. And No Way Home was fantastic. They can make good movies. They have. The first Venom wasn't terrible. But
It wasn't
like
terrible,
fucking,
but it wasn't good by any stretch of the
no,
imagination.
fuck no. And like Morbius was dog shit. This was
Right.
dog shit. This Craven the
what's
Hunter
the
movie
fucking
looks like
problem?
dog
They got
shit.
a Spider-Man
don't
universe,
know,
and
It's
like
like
the
the
only thing that's
first
hitting is
animated-
like
The first animated Miles Morales movie was
That was amazing.
great. It
so
was
was
good.
the second one.
The second one was good, but the first one was still better.
Oh, of course.
yeah,
Because the
Into the
second one
Spider-Verse
was
is good.
all over the place. The second one.
Yeah,
And
that first
I
one is
got it.
Academy Award winning fucking movie. Like it won an Oscar. The first one, They
Right.
should've-
But the second one, I understood what was going on, but I'm like, okay, it's a little too much. I felt it was a little bit too much.
Yeah, with the spot and all that shit, it goes getting a little crazy.
But my
Yeah.
question is like, okay, we know Sony can tell a good story because their games, basically for the majority of it, I'm going to say something that's going to piss a lot of people off. Essentially, that's what they got going for the game, right?
But-
They
but-
got their
but-
compelling
but-
story.
They're
But, you
narrative
know,
driven
but
games.
the same people don't work on the games that work.
But
on
then
the
why
movies.
not? I mean, they keep
Yeah,
coming
well,
up to
that's true,
bat and
that's-
striking
that-
out.
Because-
for the
because
most part,
it's-
that's true in with every movie / game crossover. Very seldom do you have the same guy that directs.
But
the
you don't
movie
have
working
the
on
same
game.
company making the damn game and the movie at the same. I'm like,
It has nothing. They're different. Okay, like he said, Sony Pictures is way different than the PlayStation side.
Well, they
So-
need to hire their
to-
directors
to-
then.
Now, to do that, they would have to have separate contracts for the director and probably pay him a very good penny, or at least the writers so they could write. And people who write movies aren't necessarily the same people who can write games. Yes, there is some cross pollination there, but not always, because the storytelling type is different. They do have a lot of stuff. They do have a lot of stuff they could do better. Why they don't do it, I don't know. But it's not as easy as just use the same guys.
Right,
They should
writing a
hire
narrative
their
for-
directors that make their series on Showtime and that they
Well,
made on HBO and
they're
stuff
kind
like
of doing that. Like Neil Druckmann is co-directing The Last of Us on HBO. But the thing is that the narrative for an interactive video game is not going to be the same type of narrative you would design or write for a movie. It's completely different.
Correct.
This I agree. I agree with that point. But my thing is this: if they can make 2 animated movies with a compelling story, they can make a movie with Spider-Man movies, 3 Spider-Man movies with a compelling story.
They are absolutely capable. Even fucking the new Ghostbusters movie was way better than I thought it ever was going to be. Like they are capable of making good movies. They have made a fuck ton of good movies in between Sony Pictures, Columbia, and TriStar over the last fucking 30 years. Like they can make good movies. Why are they making shit movies with Spider-Man characters? I don't know. Why are they making movies of characters like Madam Web that nobody gives a fuck about? I don't know. Someone needs to fucking ask them.
No, I mean, I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to create their own. Well, they actually already have it. They want to expand that Spider-Verse universe and make it kind of like the MCU, but with Spider-Man.
Well,
And-
then you don't do it with Craven the fucking Hunter and Madam Web. Venom is an obvious one. But then you look at go to his all those other fucking enemies, or what about the Black Cat? No Black Cat movie? What like no Gwen Stacy movie?
Yeah, I know. I
Like a
want
Spider Gwen movie? Like what the fuck? Like especially with how popular Spider Gwen got post the Miles Morales movie.
Yeah, where's her movie?
Right? No, we get Madam Web, a bitch who fucking can't do anything other than have flashbacks to the future. Eventually ends up blind in a fucking wheelchair somewhere. Like, Why? Why? Again,
What's wrong with that?
I don't. Hey, listen, bro.
You're not blind.
No. Paul's joke. Me and Paul are both in chairs. That's why. Like,
Yeah.
we're both in chairs, bro. But like, yeah, like of all the characters, like even Disney sometimes, like you look at the toy chest they have. It's like, all right, you got fucking GI Joes and you got Transformers, you got all these amazing toys.
Yeah, look what
and then you go
Marvel
and
did.
you,
Oh my
you pick
God.
up the Micro Machine. Nobody gives a fuck about the Micro Machine. Why are we playing with the Micro Machine? You got all these toys to play with. Why are you picking these? I don't understand these choices, man.
No, and here's the thing that also pisses me off: the Amazing Spider-Man, right? They weren't able to get Andrew Garfield to that level of hype that Tobey Maguire had, and of course Tom Holland did after him. But it took Marvel to come in, bringing back this guy Andrew Garfield to get a stellar performance out of him. In fact, it was that third movie that sort of made people take a second look at Garfield, because Garfield was panned, right?
Millions of people are like, hey, fucking let Tom do his MCU shit and give us the spin-off Andrew Garfield Spider-Man in his universe. Like, why can't we do? Millions of people are asking for that, or for Tobey in a fourth Spider-Man movie. Like, millions of people are like, hey, bring these guys back. We don't mind.
I think the new Smurf movie gonna do better than anything than that stuff. If they are making a new Smurfs movie, I'd rather see that, dude.
No, I saw a meme with a new Smurf because they had these girls who were sticking their tongue out and it was all blue because of the little gushers that they ate. And then right below it, they had the Smurf like chilling and smoking a cigarette.
Are they making the new Smurfs W? I don't want to say the word.
The new Smurfs. They got to do something, right? I mean, I don't know.
Does it rhyme with joke?
Something like that, yeah.
Not if they're smart, man. You look at Disney. Disney is doing some big.
It's ridiculous.
Backpedaling and rearranging, which it's about time, because they've been losing billions and billions of dollars, and it's like, listen, bro.
Ever since they converted that way. They converted that way. Yep.
And then you have Bob Iger, even multiple times over multiple years, apologizing, saying that he understands that doing this is upsetting people, but then they continue to do it and lose more money. It's like, we tell you what we don't want, we tell you what we want. You've acknowledged that we don't want this. You've acknowledged that we want this. All you have to do is execute it.
Did y'all see the new South Park episode on Paramount about this exact topic?
Yeah.
We're trying to. I was laughing my ass off.
Yeah, with Kathleen Kennedy, that shit was hilarious.
RPG 88 is a whole new world.
They're doing big time rewrites over there at Disney, though, especially with how popular that Deadpool trailer was.
Mm-hmm.
Like Disney is doing rewrites on fucking everything
in history viewed. In history, Microsoft. Are you listening, Microsoft? You see what advertising at the Super Bowl can do for you?
They should hire you. They should get rid of what's his name and put you in its place. I think you could do a better job than Mr. Greenberg anyway. So there you go.
I think a little child can do a better job than Greenberg.
Yeah, their marketing has never been anyone like close to exceptional, which is weird because they have all this capital. It's like, fucking pay for some ads, bro.
Well,
they need to bring in the guy that did the advertising for the 360. Bring his ass back.
Yeah, the guy who did the advertisement for what's that game called? Gears of War, the first one with that Mad World trailer.
Oh
yeah, that was awesome.
That shit is iconic.
Yeah, I to this day, it's not just one of the best video game ads. It's one of the best ads, period, in my opinion.
I think the one for Battlefield 1, when they played that song and that came out, dude, my mouth dropped because the song, everything they did went with the song, from the hitting to the tanks. And even though it was a female there as the protagonist in that episode, that was one of the greatest trailers, one of them that I've seen. They need to hire that guy.
They need to hire somebody besides Greenberg. They need to get that man out of there. You know.
I think he's just collecting a paycheck.
Yeah,
I don't think he's
exactly.
doing anything, dude.
Yeah.
The only thing I see him do, he definitely hypes up people on social media.
Or
But he's
tells them
hyping
to
up
hype responsibly. One of the two.
But he's hyping up people that were already going to be hyped anyway. I don't see him doing anything to hype up people that outside that bubble.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's sad, isn't it?
All right. So speaking of Xbox officially, well, they did announce it. We finally found out the games that are everyone sort of knew the games, but unofficially they didn't say anything last week. But they did officially announce the games that are going multi-platform. So for those of you living under a rock, we have Pentiment and Grounded going to Nintendo. And Sea of Thieves, Pentiment, Grounded, and Hi-Fi Rush going to PlayStation. And yeah, so I was kind of surprised that we did not get the backlash. I presume that sort of everyone had their fill of saying whatever they wanted to say regarding Xbox going multi-platform. But yeah, the games that were announced did not surprise me because we sort of knew those were the games going. What was kind of surprising was that Hi-Fi Rush didn't make it on the Switch.
Which way it should be.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. And I don't think it was. And same thing with Sea of Thieves. You mean to tell me Sea of Thieves cannot run on the
probably with the water effects and the open world and the ocean effects? I'm sure that would.
Okay,
that
here's
is
the
the
issue
best
with that.
looking water I've ever seen.
Here's the issue with that. Have you ever tried to add a friend on a Switch? Okay, it's a whole nother level of shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, my friend code is capital A, lowercase q, UUX, dash, minus. What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, when it comes to specifically Hi-Fi and Sea of Thieves, there's no other reason besides hardware limitation. I highly doubt they will skip up more money.
Because I thought Hi-Fi was basically, it looks like it's built for the Switch and would do well over there.
And I saw Grounded and the video clips that they were showing that's going to be on the Switch. So it looked really dummied down.
Yeah, that resolution was.
That resolution was terrible. My eyes were hurting when I saw that shit.
It was looking like Mortal Kombat 1.
Every split second, that was as blurry as fuck.
You were saying Super? What were you saying?
No, it looks like Mortal Kombat 1 when you looked at that new Mortal Kombat running on Switch, and it was like, eesh.
Yeah.
Nah, remember what's that? The Witcher 3 had that look on the Switch. Oh my
Witcher
God.
3, Outer Worlds.
But people bought it because they were amazed that they could play that fucking game on the potato that was the Switch at that time, So it's like, yeah, we can't see shit, we can't read shit, but damn it, we're playing The Witcher on our Switch. Look,
you play Nintendo 64 graphics for 30 fucking years. You play The Witcher on Switch, and it still looks like good. It looks just as good as the other shit.
You gotta remember, those games also might be coming to Switch too, which is going to be more powerful.
I'm thinking the bathtub scene in The Witcher 3 didn't look as good on the Switch. Wasn't
didn't have enough polys for everything.
Oh no! They probably would block it. They probably blocked it on the Switch because it's supposed to be kid friendly, right?
Yeah. But it just the thing is, my question is, now that it's now sort of all out in the open for everyone to sort of digest and everything. I'm
not upset about it. I'm not. I mean, it is what it is. I can't control it. They ain't putting no more money in my pocket, so let them do what they do. As long as they keep their standalones, their main hardcore games where they're supposed to be on the Xbox. I can't really do nothing about it, but that's the main thing right there. Just keep your hardcore. Keep it on PC and Xbox. That's all.
David, let me go to you because I've not heard from you in a while. What is this do you think that this is Xbox just sort of dipping their toes in the water to see how things are going to go? I mean, like, my question is, like, it seems like kind of anticlimactic to bring these 4 games multi-platform when they're just better ones that you can bring.
He said anticlimactic.
Yeah, I mean, like, come on, think about it.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. They're cheap to get over to other platforms. Will they sell? We'll wait and see. I mean, it's probably the ease. It's a way of easing into it. they're low risk, so it's a sensible business decision to a degree. But I don't think they're going to get the response in terms of dollars that they are maybe hoping to see. But at the same time, like this is something that, you know, if the ones they've announced in the time frame they've announced it, they made the decision to do this at least 6 to 9 months ago. So, but again, like the ones going to Nintendo, we got told before the ABK deal closed nearly 12 months ago now that was going to happen. So it's not much of a surprise. Like, people shouldn't be surprised about this. The ones coming to PlayStation, well, you know, they're good little games. They'll do well. It's interesting to see Sea of Thieves was coming out so much sooner than I thought it would have. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. They're different games at different levels. We haven't seen any of the big tent poles from Xbox declared coming out of that ecosystem. So yeah.
Do you think it's just a matter of time?
Well, it depends on whether they can see a business case that says this will work better in terms of dollars in our pocket, as opposed to, you know, blowing up a section of our fan base. But I mean, it's one thing for fans to be upset, right? And I can understand and appreciate why. That if you've been supporting something that's close to your heart for so long, that they just basically turn around and say, well, fuck you, it's not good enough, we're going to have to do something else. That'll upset a lot of people. But in terms of, in the end, people ultimately just not buying anything anymore, they're probably not investing a lot of money. They're probably investing more emotion than money in some of these products at the time. And I mean, like the dead set diehards, we get everything on our $1 stacked out to 2030 bloody Game Pass, and we don't spend money on anything else. If they lose those people, they've not lost anything in terms of a commercial input. But, you know, the case would have to be strong to get those big name games out of being accessible only through an Xbox platform. But again, you know, we'll see what the next round of hardware looks like, and if it goes to the cloud platforms and streaming and whatnot, then it may be that you can access those games through different platforms, but you still got to pay the toll to Xbox or Microsoft to be able to play the damn thing. And it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for them to be selling games to people who are happy enough to fork out stupid amounts of money for them.
So my question is this, right?
We
know
that.
that.
He made real quick. Just let me say, you know, you mentioned Sony and if they might. Remember the PSVR 2. It looks like it will be coming to PC. They are officially going to be bringing it to PC according to.
They should have did that the first
day one.
Right. They should have, but that was the whole, you know, staying within there. So I think that may be a hint that maybe some more of their games will be coming to PC as well at some point.
I mean, some of their VR games will be coming to PC too, probably.
Most of the VR games on that platform are already on all the other VRs.
Yeah, they're ports going to PlayStation, not the opposite way.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so David, I got a question here. So we know sort of the main motivating factor is that they just need more money, right? But you've got a situation where it's like it from an outsider's perspective, it doesn't really make any. I want to say it doesn't make it. It seems from an outsider's perspective, from a business model standpoint, that they seem to be throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. Like they're making games multi-platform, but then they're still doing consoles. There's rumors that they might be doing a handheld, and they're still doing the Game Pass. And it seems like they're just trying to, you know, branch out in all avenues, trying to, in dire need of making money. What happens if all of these are, for lack of a better word, I'm not going to say they don't make any money, but they're not like anything that really moves a metric.
They don't hit the targets.
Right.
Yeah, look, it comes down to, and this is something that, and I will freely admit, I don't know what the plan is. I can just assume, or I can gauge it from what they're telling us publicly and what I can see through the investor briefings and all the rest of it. But in terms of they're doing all this stuff, like you say, throw it at the wall and see what sticks. That's basically entertainment and gaming and software development to a degree. Sometimes you just got to try it and see what comes out of it. There'll be something there that tells them this is worth investing in. But at the same time, if they don't, they've got budgets that they have to expend into programs, and if they don't and they lose access to that funding, they may never get it back. Yeah. So they've got to come up with something that to do and see how it goes. Now, does that mean that it's a sensible business decision? Well, time will tell. Yeah. But if they want to crack in all these different markets, and the thing I find ridiculous is that they publicly state, okay, again and again, we want to be on 2 billion screens or 3 billion screens, or we want to be on, there's billions of users that we want to access. Like they're suggesting that they're going to access everyone that's got some kind of smart device in some way, shape, or form with some version of a game. That's just not going to happen in today's age, because there's just no push for that. You're not seeing an adoption rate at that level. There's so many people who just don't care because it's not their way they want to consume their entertainment. Now, if they need to invest in other areas, so the handheld or the different console and all the rest of it, well, then so be it. But they seem to be taking a scattergun approach to a problem that they don't need. That's the problem that they don't need to solve. The problem that they need to solve, which hopefully they have, is their pipeline of development of getting games from conception to players. And that's still a problem. It's not as big a problem as it has been in the past, but it is still a problem. And if they're not going to invest in the technology to solve that problem, they are missing a trick.
But isn't there acquisitions with all of these companies sort of trying to remedy that, if you will? Like, if their biggest issue has always been getting a steady cadence of good games, well, you would think with ABK and Bethesda and their own first party or purchases and stuff, that should not be an issue anymore, right?
Well, one would think, but they bought ABK, and one of the first things they did after ABK was purchased was cancel the biggest thing they were working on at Blizzard, and lay off a heap of people at the front end in development. So they haven't even done the back end clean out yet.
But they said that was because the game just wasn't where it needed to be, and it didn't look like it. It looked like it was just sort of stuck in developmental hell, basically.
And they also wanted to change the engine of the whole game and totally revamp it.
Right.
Yeah. So reasons being valid from their perspective, that's fine. But what's coming in behind that? They've now got to go back to the next idea in line and try and not have that issue start again. But it's less around the ABK pipeline. Like buying Activision gave them a blueprint for a pipeline of get game out, because Activision was good at getting games from conception to market. The Xbox games studios have struggled to get things from conception to market because they have too much freedom. They just get to fumble. I shouldn't say fumble. They get to play around with their idea for so long that by the time they actually get it out the door, it's cooked up so much expenditure. It's ridiculous. And then when they're pumping them out, not really selling them, and then dropping it on the Game Pass, the numbers just like the business model's just not working there. They need to get more games out more frequently. They don't need to be massive, and they don't need to all be AAAs, but they need to be more smarter with the money that they've got available, and they need to start getting stuff out to market. Now, if they were running at their potential, you could be seeing a game coming out of an Xbox or a Microsoft game studio every month. They've got enough firepower there to do that. And whether it's selling it, putting it multi-platform, keeping it on Xbox or whatnot, they've got the ability to do it. what they lack is the leadership to make it happen at the moment. And I really don't know why it's such a problem for them.
When you say leadership, like who are you pinpointing your finger at? Are you talking about Phil Spencer or all the way up to Satya Nadella or what?
No,
Down
it's
the
not.
line.
It's down the line from Phil. So Phil and Matt are responsible for the overall governance and health of that department, that business units, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's the studio heads and the studio leads, not the line managers of the teams, but the studio leads that need to be cracking the whip a bit harder. It's fine if you want to make a game like Hellblade 2. The thing is going to come out. It'll look amazing. It'll be 6 to 10 hours or whatever it ends up being. But if it goes straight into Game Pass, day one Game Pass, and people choose to access it there and not buy it, then and it's got some promotional deal where you can get the month free of Game Pass or discounted for 3 months or whatever it is, that's not going to go even close to getting the return on investment for developing that game. It's not a high cost game, but it's certainly not going to make its money back. You just can't keep having that happen. But if it's available on other platforms where people will buy it at stupidly high rate, then that's fine.
But you talk about
Phil said they're going to have 10 games come out this year. 10. If they don't sell or see significant bumps in Game Pass subscriptions, some of those games are going to go to other platforms. They really have no choice.
Yeah.
Well, my question,
that's.
But you're saying that they have a problem getting out a steady cadence of games, and they have financial issues. But it's not like everything is rainbows and sunshine on the opposite end of it. I mean, in fact, I think both publishers are sort of hemorrhaging money more than they'd like. And I mean, PlayStation, they knocked off $10 billion off their freaking portfolio this week. And
What?
$10 billion.
No. Get it right if you're going to claim it. Sony dropped $10 billion off its market value.
Right.
In the stock market, yeah.
Yeah, because
That doesn't mean they lost $10 billion.
Yeah, because their prediction of how many PS5s they were going to sell was short. And then the stock market was like, oh my God. And that's what happens to the stock market.
It's not like they were off by a metric of like less than 1 million. They're off by like a substantial, like 4 or 5 million, wasn't it? I think it was.
No, they dropped the forecast by 4 million units, and they are expecting to exceed that. But the reason for the drop of the Sony stock price was not solely to that. For those that bothered to listen to the investors call, in their sensors and imaging department is absolutely copping it at the moment, because they've come off a year where they had the iPhone inputs, and they're absolutely bleeding money out of that department. So it's not just restricted to the gaming bit. But yes, all gaming publishers and entities are suffering from the hangover from the COVID party. But it doesn't mean that they've, one answer is better than the other. PlayStation's got issues where they're not maximizing their expenditure, like Hiroki Totoki said.
Mm-hmm.
They could do a lot more with the money they've got, and that's true. That's very true. Their profit margin could be better.
Wasn't their profit margin right now 6 or 7%? Didn't they say that they estimated 6 or 7% profit margin right now?
Yeah, that's where it's at, and that's where it's been for a long time with PlayStation.
But
they've never run
Xbox
a high profit margin.
Have a higher profit margin percentage?
Not at that level. Xbox has got you can't compare the profit margins for both of them because they're calculated in very different manners with very different inputs. Xbox doesn't have, because it's as part of a bigger business segment, it doesn't have a heap of allocations and internal overhead charges and a heap of other stuff in their profit margin that PlayStation does in theirs. It's not like feasible to compare them at that level.
And also, like a PlayStation up and down affects Sony more than an Xbox up and down, does it not? Because they're just much more percentage of their business.
If Xbox disappeared, Microsoft was like, okay, that sucks, but Xbox is gone. PlayStation disappears, Sony closes up shop.
Yeah, so
pretty close.
So what is the answer to all this? I mean, like, as gamers, we're thinking that everything is
Well,
hunky dory, but
they're two different problems, though. Well, and the thing is, when it comes to Xbox with Game Pass specifically, this is a problem that's not unique to Game Pass. This is a problem that every other major streaming service is trying to figure out, because they're all bleeding money and they're all not getting the subscribers or the subscriber count that they need in order to just stay out of debt. So it's not like this is just something
that's
that Game
why
Pass.
some of them are merging to help try to solve some of that.
Yeah. The disruption to the market has occurred. So streaming services is a market disruptor. So the disruption has occurred, and now we're past that. Now it's ingrained in everyday life. So now comes the piece where they either start merging and consolidating to become more stable, or they start cranking prices up, or they start doing through cost charges, where if you want something, you pay for it, and they just cost charge it through to the consumer on a case by case basis.
So, but my question is, in your opinion, do you think that the Microsoft financial woes come from the fact that they did this whole march into Game Pass, eyes closed, saying, "Oh, this is just what we're going to redefine our brand as"?
I don't think they went in eyes closed, dude, at all. I don't.
No.
Well, I mean, not saying eyes closed. I'm just being facetious when I say that, but you know what I'm going to say. Like, do you?
The issue at the moment, well, step back 12 months, and Microsoft, what Xbox was doing was having minimal to no impact on Microsoft's market value and Microsoft's performance, because they weren't losing enough money to cause an issue, but they weren't making enough money to cause an issue either. In fast forward 12 months now, they've got Blizzard and Activision on deck, and the amount of goodwill that they acquired when they bought Activision, if they shut it down, or they had to have a revaluation for Microsoft Gaming, the impact to goodwill would cause a massive uproar in their shareholdings, and would cause their valuation to tank quite quickly. So all of a sudden, they've now at Xbox, and Phil, this is at Phil's level, he's got to be mindful that decisions that he's making and pushing forward may have a ripple effect across the rest of Microsoft and its valuation in the market. They now can't have the missteps and fuck around like they used to be able to and get away with it. They've now got to be very considerate about their steps forward from a business perspective. But if the pipeline's not there to support the revenue flow that's required to make this thing work better, and that's not just from games, it's from hardware and getting it to market. If they need to leverage on other platforms to save money, why the fuck wouldn't they do it? It's a win-win situation from a business perspective.
Yep.
Microsoft made $600 billion from their Xbox division alone. $600 billion.
Right,
When was it?
600 billion?
Yeah, $600 billion. Yeah.
Where the hell did you get that number from?
Where are you getting that?
Yeah, I
number?
want to know where that number came from.
Go pull the research. Don't let me.
And is that revenue or profit?
And is that from the entire
revenue.
lifespan of Xbox or what?
No. That's just for that year. Last year when the
I want to see receipts on this one.
Whoa, they made $600 billion last year.
Yeah, they made $600 billion.
No. Financial reports had $16.2 billion as the revenue for Microsoft Gaming. That's Xbox plus non-Xbox items.
Right.
There's no way they made $600 billion. The whole company doesn't even make $600 billion in a year.
So let me ask you this though, then David. Okay, we know one of the main reasons.
How did they get to a $1 trillion trillion dollar company?
That's their market. That's the value of all their shares out in the market. That's not how much money they made. Their net assets for Microsoft is barely $300 billion. So,
okay.
Well, my question to you is this, though, David. I mean, like, okay, my thinking has always been from like both a gaming standpoint and as an investor, Xbox has never been like profitable. Like it's been profitable. It's not been like hemorrhaging money. Like it's not like a massive, like liability for them. But even if Xbox does, my thinking has always been that even if Xbox just breaks even, it's good enough for Microsoft because at least that is like Xbox is their only direct to consumer brand that they have. Everything else is corporate and everything else. So like, even if, what incentive would they have to get rid of it if it's not like hemorrhaging money? If it's not even making money, but at least they'll be like, okay, at least this is something that we have, you know?
If it's existing, well, that's the thing. If it's existing and it gives them a gateway to collect customers' data without, then that's very important information for them. So, and that's one of the reasons why that if it breaks even or it makes a small loss, it's not a problem, because they're gathering people's information. They're getting databases full of consumer information, which they can use for research, development, products, and all the rest of it. Or they can sell it to other areas. What would be a driver for them to shut that down is if they found a way of replacing that way of collecting data, or if they were offered a shitload of money to sell their gaming division. And there's scenarios where that could happen.
They all do it. Sony does it, and Google does it, Nintendo does it in some type of aspect. They all do it. Steam does it. They all do it. It's been like that for maybe 10 years. They've all been doing it. So that's just the norm.
That's right.
Well, at the end of the day, whether you guys say that Xbox is losing money for whatever reason, or PlayStation is losing or not making enough profit for whatever reason, the fact of the matter remains, neither of these publishers are making money. So my question to everybody in the panel here is, what is the overall answer for all of this?
Lower the prices of the damn games. I've been saying it. Games were $60 damn. I did the check on that. They were making more money, 60 and under. They were making more money. The minute they went up to $70 damn, they started losing profit. I know it's only $10, but to a lot of people with a recession looming, a lot of people can't afford that. Some we can probably, most of us can, but your norms, they can't afford it. That's why you see them really only getting that Call of Duty, the name stakes that they know. They don't want to spend $70 for a game that they don't know.
No, but I push back on that. The norms are only going to buy what they know. They know Call of Duty, they know Madden, they know FIFA. That's all they're going to buy.
And those are the people they need.
Some of them, that's all they play, and that's not going to change. Real quick.
Yeah, but you can't entice them.
Hang on, me talking. See, hang on. This is important because Wize will get in trouble. Wize, watch your time. You said you had to be out of here by 7:30. So.
Yeah, I got about an hour and a half left, so it's cool. Yeah, it's cool.
7:30 your time.
We're all screwed. Yeah. We're all screwed.
No, my thinking is like, okay, so you got Xbox who can't make money, so that's why they decided to go the streaming platform. PlayStation said, oh, okay, we can make money by making these games, but these games are costing a lot more now, and they're not coming out at a steady cadence from their first parties, at least. Well, so
let me correct something, though. Xbox didn't go to streaming platform because they weren't making money. They went to streaming platform because they figured they could make more money or at least get more people in on the product.
Yeah,
that's a totally different mindset than because they weren't making money, they decided to go streaming. That's
But that's fine.
I think they also saw a massive drop though in software sales because around the time Game Pass came out is when we stopped getting numbers for sales of consoles and for software.
But whatever it is, well, go ahead, David. You were saying.
I was just going to say it's a completely different business model. It's going to the Game Pass model. It had potential, and it still has potential to be quite a lucrative model. It's just not being used to its maximum potential. And that's always been my issue with Microsoft's senior leadership being Phil and Matt and co at that level, is they continuously underutilize the tools that they have, and they never meet the potential of what this business model could be because they keep fumbling the ball on the 5-yard line. But it's not the point shouldn't be put across that neither of them are making money. They're both generating good amounts of revenue. The problems that they have is Xbox has got far more costs than what's coming in that you just don't see because they're being borne by other parts of the organization. And PlayStation's running an extremely low margin because they cranked up the size of all their first-party studios without having those games hit market yet. You can't go from one team to 2.5 teams across 12 plus studios having acquired all those extra studios as well, and expect that your costs aren't going to blow out, because when you bought the studio, there wasn't the revenue to come in and offset that cost. PlayStation is going to be under 10% profit margin until at least 2026. But that doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. They've just chosen to continue to invest and grow those studios with the pretense that when the games come out, they will get the money back at that point. Very different business models between the two. And it's just the thing that irks me the most about Microsoft is that they've got so much potential to do so much, and then they just seem to not be able to do it.
So in your business opinion, do you think that the only real way of making any significant money in gaming is by selling games as opposed to selling it as a service, in the sense that that type of situation?
You're never going to make money with a subscription model if you have to pay out big dollars to put stuff in it. You need to build it in-house. That's the most effective and efficient way of doing it. So by acquiring and building more studios to flesh that out, to get the game release into Game Pass and have that varied model there, that's great. But you don't need to cheapen it by giving it away or having $1 deals or 1 month free when you buy Microsoft Windows. You need to have it at a monthly subscription that people are prepared to pay. And if you have it at tiered levels, then that's fine. But if you have the option of selling the game first and then having it in the subscription model afterwards for the bigger games that warrant being paid for up front, that are complete, and then have those other options available to them, then they should be doing it. And Starfield was a great example. I don't necessarily agree that paying for the early access is a practice I want to see happen. But if you're going to say, here's the main game is $30 up front, all good, great, wonderful, and you get all this additional stuff with it that comes with it, or you can have it in your Game Pass subscription at the standard version. There's nothing wrong with that model, because you'll get the money one way or the other.
Real quick, that's what they did with Forza.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of stuff with both
$30
those.
got you the quote early access, but it also got you additional cards. It got you the first
Yep.
It got you the car pack. It got you all that.
So I
got a lot.
I paid $30 for that, because $30 I can do, a lot quicker than I
Yep.
can do 70.
And that's a good model. That's a sustainable model. That's what they should have been doing from the start.
Yeah.
I said something to your DM, Wize.
Yes. But my thing is this, like, okay, this week, and I messaged everybody on the DMs about this, right? This
Make sure
week,
you look at his, look at the DM he sent you in a widescreen, because it's.
Oh my God!
No, it's like the DM, the DM, as I said, it was this week. I was planning on getting back into Remake, and then I changed my mind and getting into Remake. So I fired up my Xbox, and I was actually going to buy Persona 3 Reloaded on PlayStation, but then when I fired up my Xbox, I saw it was available on Game Pass, and I downloaded it immediately. And I mean, I'm enjoying myself. I mean, I like, as I was telling Supernova them earlier, that I like the idea that, like, I can play P3 Reloaded, and then when I get like tired of that, I can switch immediately to Vampire Survivors, and when I get tired of that, going back. And I didn't really have to pay much for either of these games, apart from the $15 that I pay per month for Xbox Game Pass. But that is going to be a detriment, because like Reloaded is going for $70. So that has to amount to something, right? So, they sort of lost a sale. And Reloaded is an RPG. So once you get done with a 50-hour game, you're not going back. Not anytime soon, not with the way the regular cadence of games are coming out, right? So,
it doesn't have to sit in your library taking up space for no reason.
My point exactly. But at the same time, that is basically Atlas losing $70 that they could have gotten had the game not been on Game Pass. Does that make sense?
Well, it depends on how much they got paid by Microsoft to put the game into Game Pass. So that's where it becomes detrimental to the provider. So the subscription service there is, us as a customer, we just pay the fee. The game shows up in there, great, we get to play it. But for those that are hosting or running that subscription service, if Xbox has made a commitment to sell it, to buy that at dollars per game, or dollars for having it in there for 3 months or whatever it is, then every single game that's in there that Microsoft has not built is costing them some level of money. I think there were 15. There was one a while ago, 6 months ago. They had someone said this is what it costs Microsoft for 15 games to be in Game Pass. And for 15 games, it was like $1.2 billion or something like that for 6 months. I'm like, that's ridiculous. There's no way that they can sustain that. But they had, and they weren't AAA games. So it'll be a matter of how they go about paying the publishers for it. But if the publisher wants to take the chance, it's their choice. We should just be thankful that we get the options.
When somebody downloads the game, the developer gets money from that too. Every time somebody downloads the game and plays the game, both of them make money on that. It's been like that. So they pay something up front, but then they get money also to the developer for that whenever somebody interacts with the game. That's how they make.
That's
money.
if it's in their contract, though, right?
That's if it's in their contract, correct?
I've never heard that.
There's a lot of things you haven't heard, Paul. Okay.
Okay,
that's because Paul is halfway deaf. That's another story.
I stay right here.
Sorry to be a pain. I got to head off.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in and sharing your wisdom with us, David. It's always a pleasure to have you on, and we learn a lot when you come in. So thank you.
Take care, man. It's been good talking to you and debating with you a little bit. It's been fun, man.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, been enjoyable. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. Right. Thank you. Loke, let me go to you. I've not heard from you in a while. What does the industry look like a decade from now? If PlayStation's complaining, oh, we're not making enough money, Xbox is complaining, we're not making enough money, what does they're not going to do this indefinitely and still not make money, so what does the gaming industry look like a decade from now? Loke? All right, well, Loke is quiet. Apparently he fell asleep. Jim, are you there? Jim is on mute too. Okay, Triple, what is it?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, Jim. So I want to get your opinion on this because you are actually a developer as well, officially. What does the gaming industry look like 10 years from now? If everyone is complaining that they're not making any money, obviously they can't just indefinitely not make any money. That goes against what their purpose is. But
I mean, hard to say what the gaming industry is going to look like, but I can say that adapt and survive, or don't.
But what does that look like to you as a developer? I mean,
See, to me, it looks like see what all these other companies are essentially bitching about, and then say, okay, well, what are they doing that we're not doing that's causing them to get to the end result that they're at?
Mm-hmm.
And we're not going to do that, obviously.
Okay. So do you want your game to be sold day and date, or do you I know this is in the future, but are you looking at a model that is more traditional? Like, okay, you're going to buy the game for the game, or are you looking into a model where you can stream it or something like that?
We're looking more into the model back how it was in the early 90s. When you bought the game, you bought the full game, and anything that came out after was like an expansion pack.
Mm-hmm.
And and we've already planned that if we're going to release DLCs, it's going to be it's going to be actual literal DLCs that are separate from the game that you don't need to have to complete the game. It's like, all right, cool, this is just additional content, and any expansion packs are literally going to be what that is. It's just an expansion pack. It's going to be basically like back how expansion packs used to be back in the day, when it's like you bought the expansion pack, it literally was the base game in itself plus all the additional content remade, so it could have technically been its own separate game kind of deal, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. All right, Look, are you with us still, or did you sleep off? Okay, I'll come back to Loke. Supa, what does the industry look like 10 years from now, in your opinion?
Fuck, man.
I mean, like, look, I mean, you know, you hear everyone this week was complaining, oh, we're not making enough money. We're not making it. So these are corporations. We know that they're at the end of the day, that's their purpose is to make money. So if they're not making any money, they're going to start doing
They're making money some way, somehow, somewhere. Trust me.
Yeah, but they still were bitching about not making enough or making what. So what do you think is going to be the answer?
Children. It's all good. You'll make your money. It's okay, children. We got you.
Super, what do you think? What do you think the industry looks like 10 years from now? Do you see it as like just smaller games that cost very little to make, not as graphically as intensive? Like what does this
really
industry become?
the only solution, right? Like if you're looking at the current problem of we're making games and we're not making enough money, specifically in terms of like a PlayStation's model, really the only solution is that they're going to have to make less expensive games. You need to make games that cost less money, but also, you know, do numbers, because that's the only way. Like they're gonna have the business. How do I cut costs but then maximize profits? Like, you know, you got to figure out a way to do that.
But therein lies the problem with PlayStation, doesn't it? So they sort of carved out their own niche, right? And to go back against that, like back in the day with the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, they were making these games like Dark Cloud and Parappa the Rapper and all this stuff that were like, you know, eccentric little one-offy games like these types of games that did well for them, probably didn't cost them that much to make.
The problem, and this isn't something that's unique to gaming. It's something it plagues entertainment in general, is that it costs so much to make these games. It costs so much to make these movies where studios don't want to take risks anymore. They don't want to take a risk on a $300 million movie or $200 million game of some new experimental different thing when they're not sure of what's going to happen. So that's why we get the remakes and the remasters and the reimaginings of old IP that everyone knows. But if that's not working, then the only solution, unless they can somehow start selling the games at much higher numbers, which I don't think they are. I think if they are the first party games, at least for PlayStation, are selling 10 million, 15 million, I think that's about all they can expect. Doesn't matter what the game is. If that's not good enough, then the only answer is you make less expensive games.
But
or
then
maybe they do the episodic shit, which I hope never happens, because that's something that they could go to, right? Take one game, make it episodic, and release it in 3 parts and charge us 3 times.
But do you think that PlayStation is going to be more receptive going forward to maybe a multi-platform strategy? Maybe not day and date, but maybe something that is like, okay, they release the game initially on their PlayStation platform, and then 6 months, 1 year down the line, depending on how successful or lack thereof the game is, it finds its way onto PC and potentially other platforms.
I mean, if what suits at Sony are saying, you know, is to be believed, that's pretty much what's going to happen, right? Anyone that's not expecting more PlayStation games to go to PC or go to PC day and date, it's like, dude, that is 100% what they plan to do. Just like over on the Xbox side, anyone thinks that it's just going to be these 4 games and nothing else pro, they've already left the door open for other things coming down the line. It's just, this is what we have now, and then later on it's going to be other shit. Like that's what it is, and they've pretty much said so. Both companies have said as much. Like that's what's going to happen.
So, do you think that there's going to come a point in time where we're going to see a PlayStation Studios splash screen on the Xbox, and it's going to be Spider-Man 2 or something?
On Xbox, no. For PC, like that, I forgot who it was. There was someone high up at Sony, one of the suits over there, that they were talking about other platforms, and then they specified that by other platforms they mean PC, not Xbox, not Nintendo. So Sony, as of right now, if what they say is to be believed, they are definitely looking at putting more things on PC, but only PC. Xbox, I think they're putting their shit everywhere.
Well, you know, you said last week famously that adopting a more multi-platform strategy diminishes the value of your platform.
Yeah.
Whether it goes to PC or not, the fact that it's going to another platform, wouldn't that sort of coincide with what you said?
No, I think it does. I think that especially if it's day and date, I think that if a game goes day and date, let's say Spider-Man 3 is day and date on PC,
Mhm.
it's kind of like, well, why did I give you $500 for your machine to play your games if they get to play it too? They didn't pay $500 for your machine. It's like I
Yeah, but they
paid
paid
my
like
ticket,
$2,000 for theirs.
but that $2,000 didn't go to PlayStation, right? It's like I paid for a ticket to get into the amusement park, and now those rides are for me. If I don't give a fuck if you paid 7 times what I paid for my ticket to the amusement park, why do you get to ride these rides when you didn't buy the ticket? The console is the ticket, right? So
But I mean, at the same time, like the console is a subsidized price. Like you're not going to even right now, you're not going to build a console, PlayStation's power with $500.
Right, but the price is irrelevant, and I'm speaking from a consumer's standpoint, not from the standpoint of the business. From a consumer, I don't give a fuck what they spent on their PC. PlayStation says, "Hey, we're making PlayStation games. Spider-Man 3 is our PlayStation game. You want to play Spider-Man 3? You buy a PS5 or a PS6 or whatever." And we do that, and then they say, "Oh yeah, by the way, we're going to put Spider-Man on PC." It's like, but I paid for your machine to play your games. They didn't pay for your machine. Why did they get your games? They didn't pay for your machine. Like if they want to play your games, they can pay for your machine, like I did, like everyone else who bought your machine did to play your games. Why did they get it? That's what I'm saying. And obviously, they don't give a fuck. Right. And at the end of the day, putting their games on more places is better for them. 100% from a business perspective, it's going to make them more money. But at the same time, it is going to rub certain people the wrong way. I am one of those people where it does rub me the wrong way. At this point, I've kind of given up, right? I'm like, it's going to happen. It doesn't matter. But I do think that it does diminish the console. But now, if we're doing console to console, I think that even further diminishes the console, because it's one thing to go to PC, which PC, even though it's a competing platform, it's kind of its own thing. Like
Mhm.
we have the console space, and then you have PC. For the games to go to each other in the console space, I think that's another notch or another step towards diminishing the product, which is why I think that if Xbox were to put more games on PlayStation and Nintendo, it doesn't matter what the specs are of the next generation Xbox, they're not going to fucking sell any.
Unless that Xbox is really powerful and to
Doesn't
getting
matter.
a complete.
Nope.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, look at the Series X and even the One X situation where they put out the most powerful console. People didn't jump ship because it was the most powerful. If they really cared about power that much, they probably would be on PC.
Oh, I guess I can see your point. Well, let me go to Loke. Are you with us, or did you just like fall
Bros in
asleep
the
at?
afterlife.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, is it that late in Texas? So
Yeah, he's out.
he's out. I think he's asleep. Cerebral, let me go to you.
Yeah,
What
of course.
does it look like? What does gaming look like in your opinion 10 years from now? Like you've heard what you heard what Super said. What is your take on that?
I don't care. I'll be dead in 10 years.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Come on now, seriously.
We'll be alive.
Look, it's the one thing I said last week that I agreed with Phil. 5 or 10 years from now, exclusives aren't going to have the same meaning as they do now. Just that. And you're right. It's about business. It's not about the customers. It's about how they can make the most possible money. And getting it in front of more people's eyes is how you're going to do that. So I see. I think even just 10 years from now, we're still going to have some hardware. It's not going to be totally cloud-based. I don't think like I've always said, I don't think we're close to that. That's going to be probably closer to like 20 years. I think, each company is going to hang on to a certain titles that are going to be their pillars that, you can only play. In Xbox's case, and an Xbox ecosystem, which is always going to include PC. Or as they keep saying now, anywhere Game Pass can be found for a lot of them. So, so that's going to possibly put it on other places as well. Like a Steam Deck or whatever, which I know you can already kind of do that. But as far as Sony, I don't. They're probably still going to have their console, and they're going to, we all know that Nintendo's going to be the last one to be putting their games anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So how that affects them, we have no clue. And I even though you disagree, I think even their market is going to shift at some point where they're going to have to make some changes, where they're going to have to break their status quo. all
But what does the
industries go through
gaming
this.
like? Okay, so all
Uh,
of these guys are saying that the games, like PlayStation especially, is saying the games are costing way too much for what we're getting out of it. Okay, just at the end of the day, we're just not seeing the numbers that we want to see based off the games that we're putting out.
see, the problem is all companies kind of say that. Even remember with Guardians of the Galaxy that after an initial sluggish launch, they ended up doing really, really well. And Ubisoft still said, it didn't do as well as we wanted it to. It was a failure. And you go, huh?
Mm,
And you go, what? If that's your idea of a failure, I want to fail like that every year. Fuck you. you know.
exactly. Yeah.
But just like PlayStation missed its estimation for how many PS5s it was going to sell, and when you word it certain ways, it's like, oh shit, they expected to sell this many and they didn't. That's bad. And it's like, well, yeah, they didn't hit that number, but they're still outpacing the PS4, which
Yeah.
was doing more than well. So just because their estimation was wrong, like they guessed wrong, that doesn't. It's not necessarily a negative thing. So the same thing like with that game, they guessed wrong.
Well,
And all the companies go through that. They make they have teams that are put together and say, okay, I think we're going to do this well. But like we've all been saying too, coming out of the pandemic shifted everything. During the pandemic, those numbers were sky high. Everybody was buying a fucking console to get their hands on one, and everybody's playing games. Why? Because they were stuck at home. Well, now they're not stuck at home anymore, so the companies are having to readjust back to almost pre-pandemic idea of where they're going and what they're doing.
They're also making business decisions based on artificially inflated
Right.
subscriber counts and consumer numbers that went back to normal once everyone went back to work.
Yep.
Okay, so let me go to SirXMan. So what both Cerebral and Super are actually alluding to is that, okay, so these this stuff was going to inevitably happen, but the pandemic sort of gave them a stay of execution, if you will. It gave them the opportunity to sort of like hide their dislike or hide their amount of the money that they were not making, their complaints, if you will. And now that the pandemic is, for all instances and purposes, over, it's now what it would have been had the pandemic never occurred. Do you agree with that? And also, what do you think, in your opinion, the gaming industry looks like 10 years from now?
All right, first, I'm going to reflect. I've said this on another podcast, and people actually agree with this. I'm going back. We're not going to count the 3 years of 1977 with the Atari 2600. That was 3 years. But between 1980 and 1990, you saw innovation of gaming. Between 1990 and the 2000s, you saw an innovation of gaming. So every decade is always an iterative change of gaming. This is not even the end of this decade yet, and you can slowly see it changing on all console sides. When Nintendo does its own thing, but
when you say changing in what manner?
Changing as far as innovation. The technology is growing every 10 years. So the gaming is falling along that category. Every iteration. In the 2000s, you saw the PlayStation 3 and 2010s, you saw the PlayStation 3, and then you saw, the Xbox One, Xbox 360 duking it out. You saw the Xbox there in the 2000s when it came on and created innovation with online. PlayStation in the 1990s, innovations with games, and lots of games with the PS2 generation. The Nintendo blew the 1980s out when it came out and saved us. Mm-hmm. That was another iteration of innovation when you saw it falling, and the compute power got better in the 1980s. So you saw innovation building upon innovation, building upon innovation with the technology. You saw that in the 1990s. Technology improved, the innovation got better and better. Sony pushed that, and it worked out perfectly in the 2000s. Right now, no one still has toppled the selling of the PS2, which I loved. Mm-hmm. But And
Well,
the
Nintendo's coming close with the Switch, but we don't know
they're
yet.
coming close with the Switch. We don't know yet. But in the 2000s, it became the battle of the online, where online was invented. So that was a new innovation. Then it progressed. 360 innovated it with its online and its ability to start doing movie streaming, TV, streaming apps. That's where they came from. So everybody adopted that. PlayStation in the middle of the in the 90s, I mean in the excuse me guys.
2000s.
Yeah, the 2010 era, after the 360 and the PS3 moved on, they did their trends of innovations with how they, started building the games for the PS4. Xbox was doing good, but they couldn't keep up with what happened in 2013. That was marketing fault, where you couldn't hold that line. You blew that one, Microsoft, with that stupid guy that was running the show.
Matrick, yeah.
Yeah, Matrick. But as you can see, now the change is over. All the companies, they ain't going nowhere. These companies are too big to go anywhere. People, get that out of your hand, that PlayStation going anywhere. Get that out of your hand, that Xbox is going anywhere. It's just innovation time now. We're in the early 2000s still. We haven't even hit 2025 yet. So give this time to fester and work itself out, whichever way these companies are seeing them. They want to change and they want to innovate. Let them figure it out. But when we get to 2030, that'll be the beginning of a brand new iteration of where they want to go in games. You're still going to be lingering off to what you had in the 2020s, near the end of the 2020s. So let that stuff fester. And let's hope they both go in the right direction that takes care of their customers and keep them happy.
Well, you say technology, right? Well, or innovation.
Don't
Right
bring
now,
up AI. I do not want to talk about AI. Leave that alone.
No. I'm not talking about AI. You got PlayStation, who's putting they're entering the handheld space in theory. They got the PSVR 2. They got their console that they got right now. You say innovation. What innovation do you think is going to help them sort of see the results that they're looking for, if you will?
With Sony,
all three developers, all three publishers, Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo.
I know. With Sony though, and I love my PlayStation, but I just haven't had though, because I'm so invested in the Xbox ecosystem. Since the original Xbox, 20 years on Xbox, but I still love PlayStation. I still like their games they make. But I think they need to stop copying people too late and have people to, check out what other people are doing to progress the industry and stop staying stagnant so much. I mean, you come in years later after you realize, that other companies are doing things more proper. Nintendo don't count. Like I said, they're in their own lane. Let them do what the hell they gonna do. But you don't have to follow it all the way as it's progression what somebody else is doing that's probably helping their customers. But bring some of it along the way to the PlayStation people. I mean, innovation is in everything, and gaming has to follow accordingly, just like everything else. Like you see the GPUs, I think they're making too many of them too fast. New GPUs too fast for no damn.
They got to, but yeah.
But it's like, if you want to be a leader, we know you're the leader in consoles, but if you wanted to be the true leader that you were with your innovations in the 90s, continue that trend. Don't stay stagnant. Keep innovating. Yeah, you're coming out with great games, but bring back some of the games that people want. Those are the people that love you.
Bloodborne. But go ahead.
No, bring back something like Twisted Metal, SOCOM. You know, the games that made people fall in love with you. We haven't seen in games in almost 20 years?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and people are crying for them. But you don't want to do that. Improve your online structure so you can have your own games that you create, that your developers make, first party developers make, and give them something to work with. You know, give them something to work with so they can bring those innovations. I'd love to see a new Resistance Fall of Man. I would drop that. I would buy that outright for even $80, $90, you know, but I need to see it. And that's all I'm saying. Like I said, I'm not even though I'm an Xbox person, but I'm a gamer 100%. I only talk about what these companies do wrong. Both sides. Oh my God, you should have heard me on Mooch and Crap when I ripped them. Microsoft on that, a few years back. But take care of the customers. Listen to your customers. Give the customers what they say, what they want. Both sides of the table, including you, Microsoft, if you ever listen to this. But
yeah, I don't think you have to worry about that. But go ahead. No, but anyhow, no.
I will come down there to Alabama and get you.
Okay, so here's the thing, and this is I've been thinking about this quite a bit actually. So if you look at it, and I want everyone to think, okay, but before I say my piece, I want to say RPG 88 was saying that if he said that if I could play all the exclusive games of Xbox and PlayStation day one on my PC, I would not own a console.
I have a high-powered PC too, but I play on both.
I just like the experience of the console. I just like, being able to fire it up and not worry about like driver settings and all that other jazz. That
I ain't got to do all that. My PC.
Yeah.
My PC.
I mean, for me personally, I'm kind of in the same boat because if both consoles remain at the $500, that's $1,000 right there. You tell me I can invest everything into a PC and get all the available games. Yeah, that makes sense for me. I just have to learn how to hook my TV up to my computer without having to break everything like I've done before. So that's about it.
Oh no! You got to get yourself a 4K monitor, dude.
Well, here's the question I have. Okay, long time ago when gaming got repopular again with Nintendo, it was
they saved us all.
Yeah, but the games were like weaker or did not look as good as their arcade counterpart. Then around the Dreamcast era,
with Soul Calibur, oh my God, the game that was rated to be look and perform better than the one in the arcade. And I was like, oh my God, I love this.
Yeah, and that was good. It was fine. And then like consoles were playing distant second PC and distant second, and the games that they were making because the consoles were not as strong as their PC counterparts. I back in the day, from what I could tell, they were still making money. And historically, Nintendo has never been the type of company that, embraces new technology or the most cutting edge, eye bleeding, nosebleed technologies. But then again, they make profit on not only their consoles, but their games as well, maybe because they just don't cost that much to make.
I think the GameCube, that GameCube was pretty powerful for the time, but a lot of people didn't buy it.
Yeah, it was
powerful. It was funky. The controller was funky. People
right.
were like, what the
controller was funky. But there was nothing like playing on it.
But then all of a sudden, with this generation, with the PS5 and the Series X, this is the first time when the consoles came out, did they held parity to their PC counterpart. I mean, people will still say you could get a more powerful PC back when even those came out, and they're true. But generally speaking, they were very close to.
Yeah, the series consoles are the closest, and the PS5 are the closest we've had in parity to at least a midline gaming PC. So,
especially for the price at launch, you weren't getting a $500 gaming PC with the performance of a PS5 or Series X.
No, you're not getting a 12K per.
That parts were so expensive back then. Oh my God.
But what do you think? It's because that the console makers have sort of embraced that PC powered narrative that's a sort of hamstringing them a little bit. Do y'all think that, or what?
I think it's mostly just technology upgrades and what they could put in the console for a relatively cheap amount of money. The chips they're using are specially made, and they just the ability to develop those chips has gotten cheaper, and so that's why that the one, especially on the GPU side, that's why for us the GPU skyrocketed. For them, they're relatively cheap to produce on the levels that they do.
Could they
But
get them
making
in bulk?
making games that utilize that GPU cost more because there's just more development costs.
Again, that's something that that happens every gaming generation, dude. And as the generation gets further along, the closer we get to it, becomes easier for them to develop that stuff, and so it actually lowers the cost at a certain point. We were just getting to that point with the One X when we did the switch. Just like at the end of the 360, they were just at that point.
They were at the end, right? They were at the end.
They
of
were
what
at
they
the
could
end
produce,
of
right?
development, and developing games on the 360 were much cheaper toward the end than they were at the beginning because the developers were used to working with that technology. They found shortcuts, they found workarounds, and just found ways to make it work better. And that's them learning the new technology on the fly. I mean, that's just the way. It's always going to be like that.
Paul made a good point, and can I expand on that real
Go
quick,
ahead.
Paul?
Go ahead.
You made a great point. These consoles are not cell phones. Stop trying to treat them like cell phones. Run these consoles, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X out, and to keep developing your new console. But don't bring these new consoles out when you still got plenty of leg room and architecture to build games within them. These developers are just these systems are 3 years old almost, or more. These developers are just starting to figure out these consoles.
Well, that brings up the next topic, and everyone can chime in as you see fit. Strong rumors suggest that PlayStation is making a PS5 Pro, and it's coming out sometime the middle or toward the end of this year. And many people on YouTube and Twitter were like, okay, well, I guess from a technical standpoint, that's fine, but why? And does everyone agree with that? Like, do we need a PS5 Pro? And I mean, we're all probably going to get it to a certain sooner or later, right? I'm not saying that if you're going to buy it, but do you think that the necessity of the PS5 Pro is just not necessary, basically?
I don't really think it's necessary. As you were saying before, like these developers are just not really trying to take advantage of these consoles and use them to their full capability. So unless it's like when the PS4 and the Xbox One X came out, there was like, oh, the marketing speech is 4K. Is it going to be 8K this time? Unless we really consistently see, like, if it's significantly powerful enough to where we significantly see 60 FPS or something like that, then I just don't see the purpose of a new PlayStation 5 Pro unless, I don't know, they got something.
And I don't think it makes sense from a business standpoint either, because I can understand if we were seeing a decline in popularity of the console or a decline in enthusiasm. They're still getting triple-digit year-over-year growth with the console, even if it didn't hit their expectations.
And
right?
don't forget, some people are just now able to even get a PS5. Like, it's been a shit show trying to acquire one of these motherfuckers, So
and they just came out with the Slims now, so it's like you're still getting this year-over-year growth. Why introduce a Pro now when the PS5 clearly still has some steam? Like, let it run itself out, get to the point where you've completely saturated the market with as many PS5s as you're going to sell, and then you drop a Pro.
Yeah, because they're just starting. As you can see, they're just starting to get to the power of these consoles now. They really are. They've only been out 3 years. They're just starting to figure out how to program them. And if you
so the second half to get games to push the consoles.
I wanna highlight RPG AJ. He says GTA 6 is probably, I'm assuming that's why he mentioned it, is probably a reason to upgrade to the 5 Pro. But unless GTA 6 comes out and the consoles are so weak they can't put them out like even at 1080p 30, I feel, maybe it's that good of a game. But if it can't hit 4K 30, then maybe I could see a conversation had around that. But I don't see GTA 6 being that point where we need a pro to run the game.
It shouldn't be worth it for just one game.
Yeah, for one game.
Right, but like I heard someone saying I think it might have been on IGN. Someone was talking about how there isn't going to be a PC version of GTA 6 at launch.
Right.
So this could very well be a situation where PlayStation goes, all right, here's GTA 6, and if you want the ultimate elite premium GTA 6 experience, it's on PS5 Pro. I mean,
That's
you
what I
could use
think
a
it is.
PS5, but you get and I'll tell you right now, motherfuckers are gonna get a PS5 Pro for that.
I mean, maybe I hear you, but I kind of go back to what we said before when it comes to with like exclusive games, and I know this is GTA, but again, that one game to buy a whole new piece of hardware for it, especially if you're already in the PC place.
Think about the millions of people that didn't upgrade to a PS5 or a Series X, whether it's because they didn't want to or they couldn't, and then Cyberpunk dropped and it ran like dog shit on their console.
Well, that's like. That's broken dog shit. I don't see GTA 6 running broken dog shit on the Series X.
I don't either, but I'm just saying there are millions of people
I'm sure there are
things like that.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be people that see GTA 6 and say, "Oh shit, I gotta get a PS5 Pro." But I'm sure there's plenty of people that's like, "I can still play it on my PS5." And unless we're talking, and on the average, I mean, again, depending on how this game comes out, like if it runs just fine at like a solid 30 FPS, whatever the resolution is, I don't see people running out and getting a PS5 Pro. And I'm sure looking at the last generation, I'm sure Sony had maybe they have better numbers.
Let me ask you: if you can get a PS5 Pro for GTA 6,
would I get it?
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta see the price because I don't have a PS5 already. So
Let's
me
say,
personally,
how much would you be willing to pay for a Pro? Because some people are saying if it is truly a Pro, they don't even mind paying $600 or $700 for it.
Those people need to shut the fuck up.
600. Y'all saw what happened when they tried to sell the PS5 or PS3 for.
Listen. I'm a firm believer that I'm willing to pay whatever the price is if the product is truly worth it. If the specs were worth it. If a PS5 Pro, if the specs were so insane that they're like it's $700 and I can see the value at $700, sure. Man. But that's not what they're going to be doing, and that's not what I want them to do. And I think if they try doing something like that, they're going to have a whole lot of PS5 Pros sitting on fucking shelves.
Oh, come on. Just get a third job. Get a third job like the guy did.
No, to answer your question, over for me personally, since I don't have a PS5, and depending on how much the price differences could be, I could see me getting the PS5 Pro for the basis of like this is a brand new console for me altogether. But they came out with like a Series X Pro. I already have a Series X. I don't see the point in buying a Series X Pro if I already got one. So yeah, coming in without one, maybe. But again, the upgrade has to be worth the extra 200, however much extra it would cost for.
As long as the gameplay is still running smooth on there, it don't matter because you're going to get together with your friends on that game anyway. So, and some of them aren't going to have the higher version, you know.
Yeah.
Some are going to have the lower
I'm
version.
sure there's dudes on PS4.
I'm honestly hoping that they follow the previous model of Pro comes in at $500, the existing PS5 price, and
they drop the
PS5 reduction to $400, and the digital goes to $300. That's what I'm hoping they do. That's what makes sense. That's what they did with the PS4 Pro, and they don't need to do anything crazier than that. They really don't, because that'll serve them in two ways. A, it's going to be a PS5 Pro at an affordable price that they know people are already comfortable with, and B, it drops the PS5, an extremely desirable console, to an even more accessible price of $300 and $400 respectively. And that will sell those way better. Like those are going to fly off shelves at those prices. So it's going to serve them in both respects.
And see, the thing that bothers me about this whole situation is the timing of it all, right? This year, from what we can garner, if the console comes out, the Pro comes out this year, you have no first party IP that you've officially said that it's not, you're not gonna have a next iteration of a first party IP of an existing first party IP. If there's a new first party IP, God only knows. But of your existing first party offerings, there's not going to be a new iteration this year. So there's no game for that. GTA 6 is coming out next year. You're already decreased your prediction of how many regular consoles you're going to sell by 4 million. what is the motivation of you releasing this console, even if it's at $500? Say it's the same parity as the PS5, price wise. What is the purpose of it releasing it this year as opposed to next year, where now it's a year later, you got your first party offerings that can show well the console, plus you got GTA 6, your killer app, which is going to be a juggernaut as well. Just push that console through.
Well, I think you can't just, depending on when they started development on it, like the tech in the box is the tech in the box, and you push it a year, and now that takes you already a year old by the time you release it. Like, you know, if the whatever specs the machine is, I don't think pushing it serves them. Like, you need to release it when you release it. Especially if Xbox is going to release a next gen Xbox in 2026, you're going to release a Pro that's got a year older hardware in 2025 for a true next gen Xbox in 2026.
But they're gonna do the same thing. They're gonna leapfrog Xbox when they release a PS6 in 2027, 2028.
Right,
So
but do they? And I don't know if this will happen. But do they find themselves in a situation where people say, the PS5 Pro, the specs aren't that great, and the true next gen Xbox is a year away. I'll wait and buy the new true next gen Xbox. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying, for me, I don't think delaying it serves them. Like, if they're gonna release it, if they're planning to release it this year with whatever tech's in it, release it this year.
Yeah.
Well, I think would everyone here agree that even the PS5 and the Xbox Series X could have benefited by being delayed a year by launch? Because it was released, but basically during the pandemic, essentially, both of the consoles.
Well, I mean, and I've said this before, and I'm going to point this out, that there's been talk of a PS5 mid-gen refresh for a while because they actually want to still correct some issues they have with the actual PS5 that they've used software patches and stuff to work around, but they are actually improving the hardware that's what's going to be in the new PS5.
What is it? What you say?
I don't remember, but there were some bugs and glitches that they had to deal with.
The variable refresh rate, or not the variable refresh rate, the variable clock frequencies, or what?
And stuff. Yeah, and I think there was something with the fan speeds and stuff, and it didn't affect all the boards they had, but they've already done some fixing on some of the later stuff. I don't remember the details, but I do remember it came up. So that's why there's been talk about this Pro or a mid-gen refresh to correct some of those issues and make the box actually work better than it already does, which is always a good thing.
Yeah.
Whether it's going to be worth it, it's probably not going to be worth it if you already have one. But if you're in the market for one and you're looking, wait till fucking holiday season and get it on sale. It's like,
yeah. The other thing is what? No, go ahead, Paul. I'm sorry.
Or I was going to say, and also you mentioned, why do it this year? Look, if they do it this year and they drop the price of the existing PS5, they're still going to get a bump in sales because people are going to buy the cheaper PS5. Hell, for $400, I might buy my own PS5, and it wouldn't need to be the Pro because I own all of 2 games for the damn thing, and they work on the unit we have. So, I mean, so they could bump their numbers up that way as well. Now you could expect to sit on the Pro for probably an additional 3 to 4 years before they then release the PS6. So, I mean, so they have to look at that as well. And then, them and Microsoft are going to start playing chicken with the release schedule again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just if the whole Microsoft leaping ahead with next gen, and if Sony came out with the Pro, as you said, Paul, they would have to support it for like 3 additional 3 years.
Right.
So how would that work out when your competitor has whatever new advancements? And
I think Microsoft's motivation is the same philosophy that they had going into the 360. They basically released the 360 way before the PlayStation.
We're about to have the next Xbox exploding and melting. You got to wrap a towel around it just to get to it again.
I remember doing that shit. Wow.
No, I used to put. There was one rumor where you had to put it in like into like a vat of rice, and that would sometimes fix it too. Yeah.
Actually, the towel trick did work, by the way. But
the towel trick. But here's the thing. You got PlayStation, who is not selling as many as they want to sell and releasing a Pro variant, God knows why. You got Microsoft saying, we're going to release a console that is leaps and bounds above this generation in 2025, 6, whatever.
Well, they
the
said
rumor-
2026, I believe.
Yeah.
And it would probably be a holiday 2026 fall.
And then there's
they
also
usually do that
rumors that they're
November
working
release.
on a local handheld as well, if that ever comes to fruition, because we know they companies R&D all the time and we don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but let's just say that is, and
And
then you got
supposedly
Nintendo on the
PlayStation's
flip
doing
side of
the
the
same
coin.
thing.
Yeah.
You got Nintendo on the flip side of the coin, ain't saying shit. Everyone's like waiting on bated breath, like, okay, when are you going to release your next fucking console? We know it's coming out because there's nothing that could run on this potato anymore. I mean, you've sort of juiced it out to the point where nothing is able to play, nothing third party at least.
It is depressing to see games stuck on. Like I said, that grounded footage. I was like, please, just give us
and they're like radio silent, and then rumors are that their next console is not coming out till early next year. And
It's gonna be fucking 4 Texas Instruments calculators fucking taped to each other.
Hey, don't insult the Texas Instruments calculators like that. I just used one today to helping my students graph in a calculus class. Hey, those things are pretty darn powerful.
Hey, man, some of them with your color screens, you can fucking legit play games on those bitches.
Well, shit, no,
Wait.
you can-
Why did you have your kid? Why didn't you just have the kid use his phone? You know, it is a calculator that does.
No, we don't allow phones in our schools anymore.
Good for
Yeah.
you.
Cell phones, yeah.
Nintendo
Oh,
is one of the only companies that still keep everything old school. We're gonna stretch the life out of this damn console until we can't take it no more. That's exactly what Nintendo doing. They still being old school. They say we
Yeah,
still
man,
make the
because
money. We don't care.
They love selling those things for $300 and making $299.99.
But I was
going
gonna say that they're the only ones that are not bitching about, oh, we're not making any money. You know that.
Fuck
They
no, man.
got those things. They got the light, they got the standard, they got the
Yeah,
OLED.
they were making so much money the day that shit came out and it was already outdated.
And it's
technology.
all cash, not stock options. It's all cash that Nintendo makes. Just all cash. It's ridiculous, man.
This industry doesn't make sense to me from both a gaming standpoint and from an investor standpoint, because I have stocks in all of these companies, and like both of them, I'm looking at it and I'm like, it doesn't make sense as what anybody's doing. No, it seems like nobody knows what the fuck they want to do. They just seem to be like, okay, this seems like a good idea at the time. Let's just go ahead and do this, you know? And it seems like nobody, whether it's PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, has a direction as to how they want to proceed forward.
No, to me they do. At least Xbox does, and I think it's more of what always gets them in trouble. It's more of a forward-thinking thing. They're seeing beyond tomorrow and looking at next week, you know, and sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. Hello, you know, Xbox One, the original one, a lot of that was forward thinking, but none of it took. Or in the case of the Kinect, oh my God, we don't want our Kinect watching what we're doing and listening to what we're saying. So now we all have phones.
I love my Kinect. I love my Kinect.
Okay.
No, the Kinect was awesome.
If I can finish my sentence.
Sorry, go ahead.
But now we all have these devices that watch us and listen to us 24/7. You know?
What you're talking about? I turned my Google Voice speaker off. It's, hey, your mic is off. I know that. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
My Alexa is a pain in the ass.
I gotta say this to you though. Honestly, I gotta say this. Like, I don't have. I mean, people get spooked out by that shit, but it's very fucking convenient when it needs to be. Like, I remember the other night.
I never got spooked out by it. So just so you know, I never. Yeah. I figured if the TSA or if the feds want to watch me get naked in my living room, more power to them, you know.
Well, you still got See, Rebo still got a big ass.
You can listen to me all day long.
Yeah, I know.
He got a bag phone. That's why he don't worry about it, because the technology ain't in there for Cerebro, right?
No, no. I was like, this was happening like a couple of weeks ago. Me and my wife were like one night watching TV, and we were talking, and we of course have an Alexa there and everything.
Oh, God.
And then like she told me to like remember to buy something from Amazon. I think it was I I want
Something
to
in your
say-
cart. She doesn't let. She used to do that to me.
Right,
too.
yeah.
Left something
It was
in
some
your cart.
bullshit. Yeah, and then she's like, "Yeah, I need this for." 'Cause she's a nurse, and I was like, I need some of these for my work. Please, can you next time on Amazon just order it for me?" I said, "Sure." And then like 2 days later, I totally forgot about it. Right, so. I was on the commode and I opened up Amazon, and next thing you know, there were ads for shit, that same exact shit that she wanted. I'm like, okay, well, let me go ahead and buy it. Then I'm like, oh
Bro,
yeah, that's what she
fucking-
wanted. So
Yeah,
I don't know how, but Amazon monitors how much ink my mom's printer uses, and then
Oh,
fucking
shit.
reminds us when it's
actually,
almost out of toner.
I got you,
Yeah,
fam.
the printer
worry.
does that. The printer talks to the internet.
No,
oh, by the
what
way,
happened?
I have an
RPGA,
HP.
my
This is how that
wife's
happened.
boyfriend buys the butt plug, not me. That's not my empowerment.
But this
I-
is how that happens. The Alexa recognizes, or Amazon recognizes, how many times that they order it and when they order it when she needs a replacement. So it bases it upon over time, over the average of when they usually order it, and that's when the reminder comes in.
No.
Yes.
I don't think she's ordered it enough times for it to do that. I think it literally speaks to Amazon directly.
Probably. I know. I was gonna say like my printer has like a little smart feature on there where I could probably set it.
Oh
up.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, mine did too.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
Mine let me know when I was almost out. It thought it knew when I was almost out of paper, right? And it was right. It was almost time for me to order paper. So they know how much you use things. They average on that on your ordering. Yeah.
No.
Okay. So how do they do it then, Paul?
The printer actually keeps track of how much paper you've used, and especially the ink. And when the printer starts to run low on ink, it actually uses its internet connection, or in some cases through the computer to the internet, to let the system know that you're low on paper. Or
The
low on-
bullshit
or
about
that you're
HB
low on
ink though. The bullshit
Especially-
about HB ink though, if you run out of one of the
Right.
colors, it
You gotta
stops printing all
replace
of them.
Yep.
Right.
And HP actually HP's ink is actually subscription.
Mm-hmm.
They started that
Yeah.
a few years ago. I actually had to deal with that. That's why I know how it works.
Oh,
And
when you're running out of the black, it's ridiculous on printers.
No, forget it. You run out of the fucking red or the magenta, they stop. You can't even print black and white. I'm like, what the fuck is that shit?
Actually, there are ways around that to tell the printer to basically ignore those other cartridges, but you have to go in and tell it to do that. Yeah.
And heaven forbid, if you got an HP printer, do not buy a third-party inker or inker supply, because if you do, that HP printer ain't gonna not be nice to you ever again. Period.
Like, what is that counterfeit trash?
Thanks for letting me know that. I have a ink once you pour in the ink, so I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, because like I bought this, so I have a laser printer, and because I do a lot of copies for like my school, and my wife has to do a lot of copies for her job. So we bought this third party toner basically, and we put it in there, and now to this day I've gotten like I can't even pull up the screen anymore on my printer. Like the printer screen just doesn't work anymore at all. And I switched out the fucking
everything you
ink.
print. Just
Yeah.
go
You
fuck yourself.
betrayed
Repeated.
me.
Go
Yeah,
fuck
no,
yourself,
I
go
can't
fuck
like,
yourself,
for
go fuck
example,
yourself.
go to the printer and hit copy and it print. The only way I could print now is through my PC, period. So in order for me to copy something, I got to fucking take my phone, get a scan it, use it as a scanner, PDF it, and then print it off my printer. Off my computer to the printer. I can't go to the printer, just take that hard copy and put it in and it prints. And that's after me saying, okay, I apologize for buying somebody's third-party toner. Here's HP toner. It doesn't want to work.
Go back to dot matrix. Solve your problems.
It's like a pouting little child. Like, you hear me? Like shit.
You cheated on me, you bastard.
You brought that whore home with you?
All right. So Final Fantasy VII Rebirth reviews. IGN gave it a 9 out of 10. I'm looking forward to it because, the legacy of the game being what it is. Anyone else looking forward to it?
I just want to point out
yeah.
that once again, IGN pointed out that game is only available on PlayStation and PC.
Really? It did. They did that.
Yeah, they did it again. Yeah, they did.
Hey,
Oh,
what did they do the last time there was the Star Wars Battlefront? I was like, oh, you can get it on PlayStation and Switch. Like, no mention of Xbox.
Yeah, they just did an Xbox on, and it said it's coming to Xbox too.
Oh, I know it's it was just funny how
I know,
IGN
it's just-
because
yeah,
they did
but
that before, and people were like, oh, that was an accident. They did it again. I was like, was it?
No, and the funny thing is, there's already, because of the previews that they posted when they did the reviews, there's already a whole bunch of fans thirsting for Tifa. And it's like this whole thing, people are like, just,
did you see her in a bikini though, man? I mean, whatever she's wearing.
Yeah,
like,
but
hey, yo.
oh my God. It's funny. It's just like,
You know-
oh my God.
Completely random, but my friend was like, hey,
People have been thirsting on Tifa for 30 years now. What's nothing new?
yeah. But
Yeah,
my
he
boy
was-
was like, hey man, which one, Tifa or Aerith? I was like, how about you? He's like, Tifa's a one night thing. Aerith is the wife. I was like, okay, yeah, sure, let's go with that.
Ain't nothing
Aerith-
wrong
Aerith-
with
Aerith
a
is
one night
a-
thing.
Ain't nothing wrong with a
Aerith
little
is the
bump
one
and
you wanna
grind.
wipe
That's
up
all I got to
there.
say. R. Kelly said it, and that might be a bad person to quote right now, though. But
Oh no.
Daddy in bed.
I don't see nothing wrong.
with a little juvenile.
So-
Just go,
so-
yeah.
You are a sick motherfucker.
So you're gonna use R. Kelly next. You're gonna be telling me that you went to Cosby for relationship advice. What?
Yeah.
First, you put the pudding in the pudding bowl.
Once I
he
start
went to Cosby
peeing on-
for bartending advice.
Once I start peeing in the Cosby room, then you can know shit's happened. Basically,
Yeah.
there you go.
Are you
All right.
part German or something? What's wrong with you?
You'll be making
You're
I
gonna-
gotta
you're
get
gonna-
ready. Tonight's my anniversary night, so shit.
Yeah, but
I'm planning on using something.
He's got to go get that bottle of wine ready. Yeah.
Exactly. She's
Let's
gonna
pour
get.
half a bottle of
I'm gonna
NyQuil
get
in there.
lewd. She's gonna get screwed. That's all I gotta say. But anyhow, yeah, they got a 9 on IGN. Anyone thinking this was gonna be rated anything less than a 9? I was like,
nope,
well, I was
nope,
like,
nope, nope. I knew it was gonna be past the 9. I knew it.
let's see, PlayStation exclusive, a Square Enix, Final Fantasy 7. Yeah, I don't see it getting anything below a 9. I'm sorry, it's just not gonna happen.
It is
Yeah.
what it is, man. Let them do what they do. As long as I can play my game, I don't, wherever I want to play it, I don't give a shit.
Well,
Well, here's the question: do any of you believe it's going to be undeserving of a 9?
here's my thing. I want to see how they handle the open world in the sense that I've seen like little snippets of it, but like after the first disc, after you leave Midgard, that's when the game in the original series opened up, and you can literally just pretty much go predominantly anywhere you want to go and explore anywhere you want to explore. They were bitching and complaining when they were first making the first game that, oh, it's really taxing and the technology needed and blah, 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 blah. And that was just confined to one city, which is Midgard. How are they going to handle multiple cities that you can go to at any time?
You know what the problem
That
is?
is
How
the
you do that? You know how you do that? Stop making the game so hard to goddamn develop. You ain't gotta do all that shit that you're doing with it. Games can look good without all the other crap you throw in there sometimes.
Yeah.
As long as the game is playable, the gameplay is fun. You can have high graphics or whatever you want to put in there, but you ain't gotta push it to the intense max when you know it's not ready for the intense max. Push it where a game where people can enjoy it, have fun, don't have any degradation in the game, and just enjoy it like they used to do.
Well, I mean, yeah, but at the same time, this is a legitimate thing. You're sitting here and I'm listening to you bitch and complain about before you released the first one about how hard it was to develop this because it's all graphics have gone HD and blah, 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 blah. And I was thinking, okay, but the first part of the game is all linear. So
Right.
yeah, and if you're bitching about that in the second disc when everything fucking opens up, how are you going to manage that? And that's my biggest concern right now. That's my biggest concern. Am I going to get the game? Yes, of course. It's Final Fantasy VII. It's like, one of the games of
My favorite
my
is still
childhood.
Final Fantasy X. It's still my favorite. I love Final
yeah.
Fantasy X.
Actually, for me, it's Final Fantasy IX and Final Fantasy VI, which is the Kefka with the one with the crazy clown.
Right.
Those are my two favorite Final Fantasies. But 7 was the one that made Final Fantasy mainstream. So, I mean, I always will have my heart will have a small piece of it going out. Is it my favorite one? No, but it is up there. Specifically what happens to Tifa, which I'm not Tifa, but with Aerith, and I don't think it's going to happen now because they've sort of changed the story of the original anyway. So
Yeah, it's like me. I like Final Fantasy X, but I did not like Final Fantasy X-2.
yeah. That was that they were milking that for every purpose that they had. I don't know.
And then they changed it with Final Fantasy 13 and made it whatever the hell it was. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? That's not how Final Fantasy is supposed to be. I like controlling each one of my characters. You know, I like summoning things. You know,
they sort of forgot what the R and P stand for in RPG. So yeah. There we go. But yeah, I mean, so Super, what do you think? Do you have any concerns about this game not going into what you've probably seen or whatever, or what, like, do you have any reservations?
Not really. I played the first Final Fantasy when I was a kid. I don't really remember. I played it once when I was a kid. I don't remember it all that well, so I'm not super knowledgeable as to what to expect next. So for me, as long as it's more of what I had in the first game, I'll be happy. So I'm probably not the right person to ask because, again, my expectations for what is supposed to happen in the second game is not going to be what yours is because I honestly don't remember.
Well, you know, the main take home for any Final Fantasy game is the airships, right? Historically, and of course, SirXMan, you can also back me up on this. There comes a point in time in every Final Fantasy game where you get an airship, and then you can pretty much fly anywhere in the world that you want to do, and go wherever you want to go. My question is, how is that going to be implemented here? That is like my biggest thing. Is if they're going to make that, if they're going to take that open world-esque situation and make it a corridor walkthrough, then that takes away the game from what it originally was. But then if they can do it, how do they manage doing all of that?
Maybe it's multiple semi-open maps for each of the cities.
And so it's not a freely explorable where you can just go anywhere you want to go. It's just
anywhere you want to go within the semi-open world city, yeah, but not like a massive open world where you just everything is connected.
So you're going to be basically told to go from point A to point B to point C, but on that way it opens up, but you're still going to be corridor down City 1, City 2, City 3, City 4 in that order. Basically.
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on how open the semi-open is. And again, I don't know if it's fully open or semi-open. I'm just saying that that would probably be the easiest way to do is to have each one of the cities be a semi-open world where there's one way in, one way out, and then you can kind of freely explore the city. And there's multiple avenues and alleyways and streets that you can freely explore, but it's confined to one semi-open world city that's easy for them to basically get their heads around it and to create where it's not something that's so daunting of a task.
By the way, open world games can create ways so that you can't go into areas you're not supposed to go into before you can. A lot of games do that. Even though they're open world, in general, you still can't get into certain cities and stuff because something's in the way or the door is locked or, so the game, they can stop you from doing that. It's not that much of a, of a different than a lot of the open world stuff we have. If they choose to go fully open world, that you're not going to be able to go into a certain area until you're ready to there's a landslide there. And then once you hit a certain level or hit a certain point, that landslide gets cleared. It can all be done within the story.
Okay. Well, it'll be interesting to find out. It comes out next week. So yeah, I'm getting the physical copy from Best Buy because I think Best Buy's pre-order bonus was an extra steelbook in addition to the one steelbook that you get. I think
that's because by the time you get one of them, it'll probably be damaged in shipping. So they're going to give you two on the hopes that one of them is not damaged.
Exactly. But basically, yeah. Between the two, I'll have one that's functional, basically. Yeah.
But do these steelbooks actually come with a fucking game in them this time?
I'm hoping. It's not worked in this past generation. Every time I buy a fucking collector's edition, I get a steelbook with no goddamn game in it. So yeah, I mean,
got a wonderful God of War Ragnarok steelbook with no fucking disc in it.
Well, it started with I paid for a fucking $300 for a fucking robotic elephant. Essentially, that's all I did. You know?
Yeah, One A Dragon said that. He did a video and he's like, "Where's my damn game? I get all this and there's a hole in there for a game and there's no game."
And that's the shit that pisses me off.
We're paying for special editions. Like regular people pay $70 and they get a disc. We're paying $120 and $200 for special editions. And yeah, we get all the extra bullshit that comes with the special edition, but we don't get the damn disc. We get the steel case for the disc. And what you want us to buy the game a second time for the steel case? Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
the phrase is "there's a sucker born every minute." And they all play, and they all buy collector's editions. That's what that is. That's
they give you a small digital code, a digital code for the game.
I heard
they give you a digital code for the game, but still, bullshit.
I know. What I heard was the justification was this, right? Because PlayStation 5 has both a digital only and a disc version, they wanted to only make one collector's edition that worked on both, and therefore the digital code can work on both consoles as opposed to just the physical disc only working on the one that reads the disc. And my thinking is, well, wait a minute, you fucking own Blu-ray. I mean, Sony is one of the proprietors of Blu-ray. How much is that goddamn disc going to cost you? 10 cents? Put that goddamn disc in there along with the digital code and have it the same code so that once it goes into your PlayStation, it doesn't recognize
the DLC and everything.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's not going to cost you any. I mean, you put both in there, you know, like, and when it comes to DRM, if you put that disc in and somebody's trying to be shiesty by giving the digital code to somebody else, that digital code, I mean, it's all connected to fucking servers anyways, and we have to download half the game anyhow. You could say, hey, this code has been used, so you're not going to give the person who got it illegally.
Remember,
that's what they didn't want different games.
That's what they didn't want you to do in 2013 when they brought that up, the DRM. Remember when he passed the disc to him? That's what they were trying to not do. So now you're saying that, but that's what you should do.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if your biggest hurdle is, we want to make one thing or one collector's edition that works on both of our platforms, both digital only and physical one, put the disc. There's got to be a workaround where I can physically have the disc.
Wize, then don't put the disc in it. Fine, you don't want to put a disc in it for whatever reason. Great. Then don't give me a steel book. Like, that's the thing, is you give me a steel book
with nothing in it.
Yeah.
What the fuck am I supposed to do with a steel book?
If you're gonna say we're gonna eliminate physical disc from the collector's editions because from a logistic standpoint, it doesn't make sense to have a disc version and a discless version, so they're all digital codes. Fine, I'm cool with that, but don't give me a steel book with nothing to put in it.
Yeah.
Here's the bad part is they didn't tell people that when they ordered it either.
Shit, yeah, that was the worst part about it.
They were getting the game too.
No, and there was the only thing they did to save their ass from lawsuits was when they had the collector's edition, they had a small little blurb and fine print, digital code available, period. That's it. It's like no physical, or it says something, game is on digital, is a digital code or something. You could have missed it if you had not read it carefully. And yeah, if people didn't make a big shit show out of it with Horizon Forbidden West, that I wouldn't have known. I would have just ordered it and I would have opened the package and I would have, put the big elephant to the side and said, okay, where the fuck is my game? So yeah. But
yeah.
Anyhow, speaking of games, another game, a DLC was announced this week of a small game, right? I think Triple's been playing it a little bit. It's what is that? Elden Ring? I heard about it, right? Triple?
Why did you write Elder Scrolls DLC? The Elder Scrolls got DLC, bro?
Oh, yeah, man. It's awesome. You meet one of the David
Elder Scrolls, yeah, shit. Elder Scrolls, awesome. Yeah, I know. Elder Scrolls. Elden Ring, yeah. Fuck, I just noticed that, dude. Oh, God. This is what you get when you're trying to manage an anniversary and a podcast at the same time, and you're old as fuck. So there you go. Anyhow,
so got some DLC.
Yeah, somebody's getting some D tonight. Go around. Anyhow, so
you know how many people are excited to jump back in the Elden Ring because
I've been playing it.
He never left. He doesn't have to jump back into it. He never jumped out of it. That's the problem, So
you say that's a problem? I feel
no, I don't think it's being a problem. So yeah. Are you excited, Triple? That
Oh,
what was
yeah.
it called? The Ender Tree.
Shadow of the Earth Tree. I'm very excited to get demolished by bosses all over again. No,
Damn.
no, it looks phenomenal. I'm trying to remember correctly. I think someone was saying it's the size of the first area, which was Limgrave. So it's of course it's gonna be smaller since it's a DLC. But I think they said maybe 10 bosses with area bosses and main bosses, of course. But no, the gameplay that we got looks awesome. It's lore wise. There is like a section in the game where you beat it. You're like, okay, this has to be a DLC area. Just something happens and then nothing follows up. And then the DLC is picking up directly around that.
So,
Yeah.
are you saying another 80 to 90 hours in Elden Ring?
I wouldn't put it that way. Funny enough, I'm on my second playthrough. Of course, this is me knowing what I'm doing, but like my second playthrough, I'm almost done under like 20 hours. While I stretched out myself because I was like, I want to level up a bit, but it looks the DLC looks good. The weapons that they showed off looks really awesome. My brother is like, hey, you gotta get the punchy martial arts build. I'm like, yeah, sure. Why not be throwing?
Oh my God!
Can everyone in this
Almost look
panel
dope.
agree that this is going to sell gangbusters?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So my question is this: do you think
How much is
that,
the DLC?
I think it's 40. It should be 40.
That's not bad.
Too. Yeah.
So the question is, are we even going to get an Elden Ring sequel, or is this just going to be more DLC, more DLC, more DLC? Is this going to turn into a live service type situation?
So with their previous games, Dark Souls 1 had a DLC, Dark Souls 2, all the Dark Souls games had DLC. Bloodborne had one, and Sekiro, to my knowledge, didn't have DLC. I don't see From Software really milking this game because they don't have a track record doing that. I know the industry is always changing, what have you, but just going off a track record, otherwise we will see like microtransactions in Elden Ring. So we could probably get multiple. Dark Souls 3 had,
but they've never had a success like they've never had a success like Elden Ring yet either.
Yeah, so yeah, like I said, we could see multiple DLCs because, like I said, Dark Souls 3 had 3 DLCs, I think. So they wanted to give like extra DLC to Elden Ring. I wouldn't put it past them. Like continuously building on to it past that, I don't see that happening. But even then, it took them 2 years to get Shadow of the Earth Tree out. So how much longer they want to keep, building on top of it? I don't have an issue. They build on top of it further, but I don't see them milking it till the cow tips over and dies because it's dried up. But I mean, I would complain if they did. So I don't know.
Hear that, EAC? This is what you should do every year. Stop making the same game over again. Just charge for roster updates like $30.
Yeah, hopefully they do that with the new NCAA football, the college football game that they're coming out with in summer. Because unfortunately, I'm going to have to buy it. Living in Alabama, I have to. It's almost like requirement to stay in the state, which actually might be good.
The other requirement was wearing your sister. Yeah.
But
I'm looking forward to the Need for Speed Underground 2 remastered from EA later this year. That's what I'm looking forward to.
RPG.
I love Underground. Y'all can have it. Yeah. Underground 2 was the GOAT, man.
I hope.
Oh, you even agree to that, huh, Super?
Oh yeah, Underground 2 was.
No, I hope they keep the same aesthetic, like that cell shaded aesthetic. I love that cell.
No. I don't want the cell shaded. Underground, not cell shaded, dude.
You talking about the most recent one?
I want the same.
I was talking
about the one.
That'd be the same music.
Yeah, I know Underground 2. I know Underground 2. Believe me, I know Underground 2.
That was the one. That was the one that was get low. Fuck yeah.
Get low. Yep.
Open world, man. They had that open world map. I was like, yo, we can go anywhere we want.
And you had to unlock the different sections by racing and stuff like that, and then unlock the other section.
We went from Elden Ring.
Man, that was the game, dude.
I want to see an Underground 2 a remake, and I would also want Rockstar to bring back fucking Midnight
Club, baby.
Oh yeah,
shit.
Midnight Club Dub Edition, the greatest.
Dub Edition.
I want a new Twisted Metal in the vein of Twisted Metal Black.
No, you know what EA need to remaster, and I'm sorry, I've been saying this for years. They need to remaster Burnout 3 Takedown.
Yes.
They need to bring that back. You know what I'm saying?
I preferred Revenge, but Takedown will work too. Revenge was my favorite.
Nah, Takedown was my favorite. Oh my
But
god, there
those
was nothing
all
that
those games
you and your
in that
friends
era were
do.
really good. It's like they were
Doing
hitting
6 laps on Tropical Drive with your friends. Oh my god, I got you. Takedown. Thank you for the boost.
Speaking of remakes and disappointment, I heard that they had actually a remake of SSX somewhere internally in EA, but then they canned it again. And
What?
What the fuck? Why did you do that? Jesus.
Because this snowboarding game in 2024 is not going to sell well.
Yeah, but
didn't Riders Republic do well?
I don't think so. Did you play it?
I did
didn't
play it. Yes.
I mean, did you buy it?
No, I didn't buy it.
There has been no
Don't judge me.
That's funny.
There has been no snowboarding
Has
game.
anybody on this panel bought Riders Republic?
No,
No.
but that's because it's not an SSX tricky. Yeah, you see.
Come
on now.
Even the original SSX was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
maybe nostalgia gives us rose-colored glasses or something like
Maybe
that. I
EA
guess.
need to read that because there are some games that you need to bring back. You can afford it. You got the developers. You got the rights to the
They
game.
know what people want. They don't care, dude. It's all about
The other
fucking Grand
problem
Theft
is
Auto.
a lot of these
Or
older
I mean,
games.
it's all about the Maddens and the stuff that they're making.
The Maddens and them FIFAs.
But
a
yeah,
lot of these,
they're
a lot of
making
these
a
older
re-
games had soundtracks, and getting the license to the
Isis
songs
is
again
gonna be a bitch, I know.
logistical nightmare.
But yeah.
As long as they don't give trust EA with the responsibility of making a Mandalorian game, I'm okay with that because I know they're going to microtransaction the hell out of that game. So.
I know what
Pretty
game
sure that
was.
Disney pulled all that Star Wars shit from EA. They were like, "You're not worthy anymore, bitch."
Good.
Hey,
You were
Wise,
saying?
I know which game you want back. Leisure Suit Larry.
Oh
or
yeah.
Hugh-
Oh yeah.
Or Hugh
Oh,
Hefner.
Leisure
That
Suit
Oh,
Larry.
Hugh-
Leisure Suit
oh,
Larry, magna cum laude. Emphasis on the cum. Magna cum laude.
Speaking
Hugh
of
Hef-
cum, I got to get ready to
Hugh-
give some.
Hugh Hefner's Playboy game. Remember that one that came out on the Xbox?
No, remember what was that game? BMXXX. I don't know if
Oh,
y'all remember.
Triple X.
Yeah, BMX.
Yep.
All right.
Then there was a game I forgot what it was. It was some type of game show with like actual videos of girls doing like what t-shirt contests.
Oh, the
yeah,
man.
yeah. What was that?
Yeah, we play that on Retro Renegades, dude, because Jay has it.
Oh shit! You
What-
kidding me?
They would have that.
Jay, I bet
And
it
so
surprised
Jay
me.
Jago actually has the disc.
What's it called? The man game?
The man game, yeah.
Yeah.
Jago actually
Yeah.
has the
The
disc. Yeah.
man.
Yeah. we got
You know when that whole Girls Gone Wild was out?
Yeah,
things that
we actually
Yeah.
stream that every once in a while and play it.
You know,
Yeah.
real quick, there's this game on Steam that actually lets you. It's animated. It's not animated, but it's like real looking people that let you really have sex. They show
No thanks.
all the body parts, doing it with other people,
On
men, and Steam. It's on Steam. I forgot the name of the game, but I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
all I know is that Stellar Blade was rated like NC-17 in Korea, and I'm looking forward to that game.
Yeah, it's for
All of
everyone.
a sudden, I've piqued a new interest in that game. At first, it was going to be one of those games I was going to be like, yeah, okay, when it goes on sale, I might
looks
buy it. But
good.
now,
They got that, but they can't release the last
You know,
what?
I'm gonna be that guy. You know, yeah, she looks hot, but the gameplay looks pretty good too. She got the flicks and kicks and the third-person shooter mechanics, and I'm like, yeah, that looks good.
yeah,
Remember
Best
when
part
they-
is it's gonna piss off some fat ugly bitch with a green streak in her hair somewhere, and I'm all for it.
Remember when they made a what was it, another DOA extreme volleyball or something like that,
Oh, yeah.
and they could
Oh,
not
yeah.
bring it to the U.S. I was like, what the?
Yeah.
You need to remove them physics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember back in the day that was Team Ninja's claim to fame, the jiggly physics. You know, they had that shit down on pat. You know,
And you know the
Dead or
sad
Alive.
part? The volleyball was actually good in that game. That's the sad part about it. Yeah, I had it.
Oh, I miss those days back in the day when people didn't give an irreverent fuck. But anyhow, let's go ahead and call it a night. So let's Let me go ahead and start these outros. SirXMan, tell us where we can find you, sir.
Playing Tomb Raider. That's about it. I don't know where I'm gonna show up. I just pop in when people need me sometimes. But
Well, we really appreciate you coming in. So
yeah, there's no GRG tonight, so I'm good. I get a day off after this.
Oh, that's cool. Well, you know, I don't want to take you away from your Tomb Raider experience and your.
It ain't about the giggle physics. It's about the headache from remembering where the damn puzzles are. But it's worth it.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is this as well. With your age and everything, you can't keep stopping and masturbating every 30 seconds to Lara Croft. You have to actually physically.
Okay.
Or in his
camera
case,
again, buddy. You get double duty.
In his case, hand pumping. You know,
exactly. And no wonder you like the tank physics. It's easier to manipulate.
Well, that's all right. Cerebral got a pump connected to his chair, so he's ready.
Speaking of which, Cerebral, tell us where we can find you in your pump.
I don't need no pump. Don't got no pump. Hey,
well, why is the vacuum duct taped to his chair?
I love Super. Super's awesome, dude.
All right. Cerebral.
Okay, you can find me at Cerebral Paul on Cerebral Paul 1 on Twitter, now X. Cerebral Paul Cerebral
Get the pump out, dude.
Stop. Don't fucking okay. Cerebral Paul on Twitch. You can find me on Mondays and Thursdays on 4GQ TV. Mondays for the Pop-Up Powerbomb podcast. Actually, this week it'll be on Tuesday, and Centurion will be joining us on that show because Elimination Chamber is in about less than 12 hours. It'll be at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, or 5 o'clock Eastern Time will be when the matches actually start, because they are in Perth, Australia. So we'll be doing a show on Tuesday talking about that. On Thursdays, you find me on 4GQ TV for the regular show. Tuesdays, you can find me on the Retro Renegades, and you can also find me on the Xbox Ambassador channel at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 p.m. Pacific, 3:30 p.m. Eastern, and for Gaming Differently with Cerebral, and then here on Fridays, Wasted with Wize, and yeah. So I will be up at 5 o'clock this morning, probably posting shit as I watch the wrestling stuff. So if you're awake at 5 a.m. Eastern, yeah.
Alexa says your printer need more ink for your resumes.
Exactly. No wonder he needs more ink.
Paulo's a busy man.
All right, Super, tell us where we can find you, sir.
On YouTube at Supernova Gaming whenever I make videos. Occasionally on the Roundtable Podcast over on King Thrasher's channel whenever he does that. On X, Twitter, whatever the fuck it is, at Yo It's Nova, because my old account got suspended. And then here every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Mm-hmm. And then until next week, I'll be spreading democracy in the name of Super Earth.
Is that what the kids call it these days?
Oh, I'm moving to the Philippines in a couple of years. It's too expensive in the U.S. I'm done.
If you want to, actually, if you really want a good place to go and get the most bang out of your buck, Belize. Belize is a very good country for that.
Nah, I don't want to move to Belize.
But it's really nice though. But
I know.
No, you know.
All right, Triple. Tell
you
us
just like the big booty women out there. That's what that is.
Hey, what's wrong with that?
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man.
I don't see anything.
Who doesn't like
Did you just say it ain't nothing wrong with a little bump and grind? Okay.
I know. It's either the Philippines or Thailand. One of them I'm going. Thailand got the one with the booty though.
But you also gotta worry about what kind of flavored cake you getting in Thailand.
Yeah.
Oh, I know about that. Both countries, even here, you gotta worry nowadays. You know what I'm saying, Soup? You gotta worry here nowadays.
But Asians specifically, though, like they are way more androgynous than other races. It's way easier for them to be fast. So
they let everybody flow to their own term over there. I know.
Yeah.
Kind of like
$10. Everything you want. Everything.
You stupid. You're so stupid.
I fucking love Full Metal Jacket.
I know, right?
Shit. There you go. That's your tie for you there, right there, Vietnamese. All right, cool. Triple, you were saying?
Oh, I'm sorry, getting destroyed in Elden Ring. Yeah, you can find
Oh
me-
my God.
You guys did this. You can find me on the Twitter, the Twitches, the YouTubes at Triple Combo Game. Whenever I do upload something, I don't know when. I'll also be making an appearance on Cali's show at some point. I gotta get the specific date. And sometimes, occasionally, every now and then, once in a full moon, you can find me here, Wasted with Wize, talk about video games. So yeah.
I
Why
would
talk
ask.
about video games?
Yeah, we talk about shit, or and sometimes it goes to video games. But most of the time, we just fuck around with each other. Basically, that's it. So,
Oh,
yeah.
whoa.
I know, right? Went totally left, dude.
I would ask Loke where we could find you, but I think he's asleep. I think we could find him on his mattress right about now. But
Loke's
yeah,
in the jungle. I think a lion got him over there in Africa. That's what happened.
no, Loke is in Texas. This is a myth. He just puts that
Yeah.
accent on like he is an African, but he is actually from Texas, man. So yeah.
You
But
actually
look, yeah, you
sound
can
like a
find him.
Jamaican.
He's got his own network. He's got Bull Sitting. He's on with Ham Solo and Cozy Beluga. Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays right before this show. And of course, you could find him here every Friday at 6 p.m. on Wasted with Wize. Anyhow, yeah, my name as always is the Wise Old Gamer, the man who brings the icky back in sticky, or the man who puts the fun in dysfunctional. So yeah, take whichever one you want. So yeah, you can find me with Wise Old Gamer with a Z on PlayStation, Xbox, and Twitter. Please do not follow me on Twitter if you get your panties in a ruffle very easily. You may not like what you see. But yeah, we do this podcast every Friday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, well, just want to thank my guests for showing up, David Faulkner and of course SirXMan. And as always, my panel, we couldn't do this without you. And of course, the chat. You guys make this show the way it is. RPG88. I cannot pronounce his name. It's God Lord Cannabis, etc., etc., etc. Thank you for showing up. FarQTube, Rich Krishner. Thank you guys, and everybody who I failed to mention that showed up on the chat. Thank you for showing up and making this a special day like you always do. And that's pretty much it for us for tonight. And yeah, I got to run because it is my anniversary. That's why we had to start the show a little bit early. So thank you for everyone.
That's right.
Who
They've been
came
married
in.
for 21 years. It's been the 3 best years of his wife's life. You know, that's
Well, it's been the best 30 seconds of mine. So there you go.
You gave her your best for 30 seconds. You got 2 kids out of it. So
Exactly. That's 30 seconds. After the first 10 seconds, the other 20 seconds we cuddled. That's it. There you go. Anyhow, everyone have a great night, and we will see you guys next week. Peace out, guys.
Bye.
Hasta luego.
Adios and